We're not doing a long intro today. Hello, hello, hello. What is today? Today is November 8th, 2024. Oh boy, it's cold outside. Man, it's so great when it's like, yeah, you go to bed, it's like, okay, it's a nice kind of cold, but then you wake up and it's a not nice kind of cold. But we're getting through it. But hello, I hope everyone has been having a wonderful day so far. Most likely, but today we're going to be getting ready for Xaku Prime, so we're going to be doing syndicate missions, getting those medallions, getting steel essence for relic packs. So just the plan is day one, Xaku Prime comes out, I want as many relic packs as possible, and I'll show you what I've done so far to get this, because it's a lot. Maybe going over the warframe timeline later, maybe, probably. And then I'm not sure if, like, say we do the warframe timeline, just going straight into, like, soulframe. That's why I didn't put it in the title, but, like, maybe I take a break. So we do the warframe timeline, head off so I could eat lunch, and then soulframe later today, maybe? Who knows? We'll see. Like, I make this schedule. But let's see the scene. Where is warframe? Where am I? I found myself. There we go. Let me make sure the window's fine since it's been a minute. I think that looks... Yeah, we're good. Hopefully I'm not blocking anything, but... Why warframe? Every time it does this. For some reason, warframe, when I have headphones in, it just decides to randomly jack up my audio. It's like, no, I have headphones in, please. 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 Please, no. Well, let me turn down my game audio. Because, no. Well, let's go. So, I'm not going to look at how many medallions I have, but instead, I'm going to leave that as a surprise for next week. But Xaku Prime comes out the 13th. Rescue, exterminate. Oh, these reset in like 2 minutes, so I need to pick probably this one. Yeah, let's go. So, I am running Xaku. I have the Aeolak Prime, which if you know my Twitter, you saw I complained about not getting it. And for some reason, that makes you get it. Just, okay. Like, so just, I'm leveling that. I got the Kuva Nucor, I got the Glaive Prime. I still have my Smita Kavat, which I need to get, like, because of the companion rework, I know I need to see which one is, like, the best, but for now, I'm good. Oh, hey! Nice. We're gonna do that anyway. Right now, it's just gonna be pretty chill. I mean, this is what I like to do, is I like to play Warframe in the mornings and just chill out. Chill out, vibe, relax. I will say, I'm super excited for Xaku. I was a little upset that they were like, oh yeah, we're gonna do Sevagoth instead.
Stay focused.
Oh.
There's a heavy unit approaching.
There we go. Just waiting for Ordis to do
Here comes the Juggernaut.
the pulse so I can see where everything is. Or not. There we go. Okay, got three, not bad.
Multiple biosignatures detected. We've got infested incoming.
But yeah, today, like, it's Warframe. I've been playing this game for 8 years. Somehow. I can show now while I'm not, like, dying. So, I have done nearly every weapon in the game. I just need a few left. And some of those I'm waiting on Prime Resurgence to bring them back because I need the relics. Some of those are just, yeah, that's 20 minutes. And it's a 2%. Fun. It's crazy. We're just hunting down medallions, which I will say, as someone who routinely gets 7 out of 8, if not 8 out of 8 for this, watching Zach try to hunt these down was painful. Just watch him walk by, just, oh, I know that's a spot for a medallion, that's a spot for a medallion. Nothing down there. Oh, this is an enemy drop. So I got 3, 4, and we're 100 to extract. They must all be at extraction. Or right here. 5, 6. Ooh, that one's might be 1. Yep, they were all at extraction. Let's see. What? Is there a way down there? Wait a fucking minute. How the fuck? There has to be a way down. What the fuck? Aha! So if this goes down here, do not exit by accident, do not exit by accident. There's a way down here. I want the Iatan now. This is so mean. I can get down here, but all this infested blocks me. That's the meanest Iatan spot ever. Because I don't know how to get down there. Okay. But really good regardless. Like, the general being 5,000. And then, oh, I can hover over and see how many I own. Man! Okay. Well, I ruined the surprise for myself, how many I had, but that's okay. But the general being 5,000, the defenders being 1,000 each, so that's 10,000, and then another another 1,000 with the normal insignias. Yeah, 11,000 plus 4,000, so like 15,000 in a single mission is really good. So now they should reset. Interception. God damn it. Oh, it's on a shit tile too. Because there are some tiles that are nice, and it's like, okay, it's interception or defense, but they will still spawn the medallions. Versus other tiles like Neptune, the Corpus ship one, will not. So rescue's fine, capture will be fine, exterminate will be fine, mobile defense will be fine. Hell yeah, love to see all this. Not too happy about the spy. Like, mobile defense isn't bad either. It's just it takes a while. Okay, so let's start with the Steel Meridian. Because it is a delicate balance of I'm trying to keep all of my syndicates max rank. Well, all 4 of them that I can. I'm being pinged. Why? There we go. Nothing important. But yeah, speaking of, like, so doing the Warframe timeline, I was rereading my rewrite of the New War last night. And if you didn't see my tweet, if you did, holy shit. Just, what the fuck? Like, I did not realize. Like, I sat down and rewrote parts of the New War. Nice, 5,000 early. I rewrote it 2023. January 2023. What did I have specifically the Drifters say? The I've got someone important to meet and I can't afford to be late. Can't afford to be late. Now what are we doing with 1999 and Whispers in the Wall? We can't be late. Oh boy. But yeah, I was basically cleaning up the timeline, looking at it like, are there any things I still need to edit? Because it's still an ongoing project. Like, I don't think it'll ever stop being like built up and added to, unless literally I stop playing Warframe. Okay, this is a big room. 4. I have a feeling this is the way to extraction. Just a hunch. Nothing here.
Stay focused. There's a heavy unit approaching.
There's a heavy unit. And this is dead end. Cool, cool, cool. This has to be the way to extraction. Like, nothing here. Yep, okay. So put this on the back burner. We'll be back. Let's not waste more time going like, oh yeah, we get to clear this out. No, just go do the mission. We know we'll be back. We don't need to check an area twice over. Oh, wrong way. Sometimes I get lost, and that's okay. This. Okay, we're on our way.
Beware. Those lasers are linked to the poison tumor nodes growing
Oh.
on the airlocks. Contact with the lasers will put our operative in immediate peril. Bypass complete. You may
Oh, I hit the wall. Go. Oh, nice. Great Iotans. Okay, why is it always the last one I check?
You found the operative. Now bring them home.
Which I don't even... Oh, man. Now I'm just thinking of, like, other things I could do in Warframe. It's like, oh, yeah. Like, I'm LR3. LR4, actually. But it's that thing of... What do I still have to do? I got a few farms left. Namely, the one that's been annoying me is the Sister of Parvos farm. I still do not have all the ephemeras. Now, you might be thinking, if you know the ephemera farm, oh, okay, we're at 6, so the 2 I need are here. So it's like, oh, it's only like a 20% chance to get one. How do you not have all of them? Like, they've been out for this long. I've been trying to... I still have 2 ephemeras left. I've been repeatedly trying to get, I think, the fire one and then another one. I've gone through 11 or 12 Sisters of Parvos just trying to get the fire one. I still don't have it. Still don't. Aw, this is the worst combination. 5 of the regular and just 2? Damn. Oh, also, for the... Yeah, if I could speak. For the ARG, it was a 5-minute in and out adventure. It was literally over and done. Like, in 5 minutes again. Just... Like, we were unironically making that puzzle harder than it needed to be. It's like, oh, it's a crossword. Not crossword. What are they fucking called? Word search. Which let me do this real quick. Not relic pack. There's a word search and then you find the words, it made an asterisk or a star and then the points on that. You went around in a circle clockwise and it spelled your password. Like, oh, well, that's a lot easier than we thought. Like, we were scratching our heads being like, oh, we find the letters and then whatever letters are left over, those have to be like a cipher or something, right? No. We're just overcomplicating it. Just, damn. Rather not do defense or interception, damn. Capture, exterminate. Let's see what these other syndicates are at. I need to get Red Veil up. I need to keep these above 5. We should probably do arbiters. Just to make sure they don't fall too far. So let's do the capture, because I like the capture. Let me check. Okay. Audio is good. Just doing some checks. Okay.
We received
I say the
intel
audio is fine
somebody
and then
vital to
it
enemy
deafens me.
operations
Okay.
is here. Find them and capture them.
Huh. Can't say I recall the last time a medallion spawned up there. Um, 3. Not too shabby.
Come on.
Not too shabby.
We cannot let our target know we're here. Track them down quickly.
But yeah, if you are curious of like, yeah, this Xaku build for hunting shit is just, yeah, anything that's not nailed down, and anything that is nailed down for finding shit.
You found
If
a
it's not
target.
nailed down,
Capture them quickly
it's not a
before they
medallion. If it is nailed down, it's probably something important. Take that. No, 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 no.
Mission complete. The captive has been escorted to the extraction
That was
point.
just rude
Well
of
done.
the nullifier. Damn.
We've got robots inbound.
Okay, I need energy. Thank you. Doesn't look like there's anything down the waterfall. Keep going. Could be.
Stay focused.
I'm
There's a
saving
heavy
my
unit approaching.
pulse of the Orcan Eye for a big room. Like this one. I got 1. Cool. Cool. Love that. Singular 1. Any energy to proc energize? That was energy. It didn't proc energize though. Please, I beg. Thank you. That corpus understood the assignment. There's the 1. Still 3 more. Here, check down here. Yep, there's an enemy down there, so that means there's a way down here. Yep. Two more. I'm still looking for the 5,000 one. Got it, got it, got it. See? Essentially with these missions, sometimes like I've done these missions so much, but like most tiles I can recognize the spots. Like, oh yeah, this is where a medallion would be. But then there are some missions like the Corpus ship tile It's like, oh, I know the spots. But if one of them is in the Grand and Void, well, shit. Because I've had it where it's like, oh, I'm missing one. It is the one worth 5,000 standing. It's in the Grand and Void. I can't find it in the Grand and Void. There's the last one. Right here. Ta-da! There we go.
Mission complete. Excellent work, Tenno.
Yeah, they went down by 2,000, but that's fine. We'll get it back when just farming standing today. But I'm gonna have also, because I'm doing boss 4, like, I'm gonna have so much boss 4 for just various arcanes. Which I'm still debating on if it's like, if it's worth it. Like, do I want to go that route of like, oh well, I've already done every weapon in Warframe. What if I do every arcane? What if I level every mod to full? Which I do not have the credits, nor the full amount of endo to do that. Also, I need Forma. God damn. I have 20 built. I need, I think, 40 more for all the new weapons, because I love that they're keeping the 5 Forma. But right now, we're going to take a detour, because this is something I keep forgetting to do. And it's bugging me that I keep forgetting to do it. So we're going to go to Cetus real quick, a little hop, skip, and a jump. I gotta go to Master Tizanai. How you been? I've been good. A little bit busy, but we're back. Not Old Man Soombot. No. Tizanai. I need... I have these? Oh, but also you can see I have maxed out my standing for the Ostrom. So I've also maxed out my standing for Fortuna and for Deimos. Not for the Kavia, though. The Kavia specifically because they do not give relic packs. So I am ready for Xaku Prime. Almost. Trying to get as many medallions as I can, trying to get as much standing as I can. But this is ready. This is ready. They are ready. Just the day Xaku Prime drops, I am ready to get a shit ton of relic packs and just go all in. I have the curatives. As Asterion, I was getting Kavats on Cetus to get standing, and Asterion got bit. Let me put that on my gear wheel. Vasca Curative. Did not realize I had those. I'll have to use that. That's fine and dandy. Okay, what do we want to do? Mobile defense. Let's do exterminate. Let's start doing the pseudo ones as well. But I have been thinking, it's like, okay, we're getting back into streaming. Like, do I want to start streaming like my writing process for my story? And I'm like on the fence about that right now. Because I was like, usually I like to stream like afternoons, like not too early in the morning.
But now all they do is make war.
And I'm on the fence because, like, I do wanna, like, show off my writing process. But at the same time, I don't write in the mornings or the afternoons. The time I take to write my story is very much a wind down, like, I'm gonna go to bed in a few hours. If not, I'm staying up because I need to, like, I'm staying up because I am writing and I need to go to bed. Like, I'm on the fence about that, but we'll see. Like, maybe I do, like, just try out one night of just a late night, just chill. Where it's like, I wouldn't have to talk that much. Just a late night chill, chat while I write my story. Like, we'll see. Probably not tonight, but we shall see. I think literally last night I stayed up later than I should have because I was writing, and it was very much I need to go to bed, I know this, but if I go to bed I'm gonna lose the momentum I have, and I want to get this scene out of my fucking head. And I did. It was worth it. I got 4 of them. Hey, that's a good ping. Like, the best use of that item is if you can try to get all of them. Sometimes you only get 1. Sometimes you get none, and makes you want to cry. There's 1. Anything that's not nailed down. Okay, let me turn off alarms. Oh. Oh, that's all of them. Because there's 3 left. Nice. But I'm so glad I decided to do, like, my syndicate swap, because I still needed a few things with, like, Loka and Karen. So I fully changed over, like, to them to get those cleared out and then just get what I needed with Suda and Arbiters. I'm so glad, like, that all went to plan. Yeah, I know. I'm so excited for Xaku. Oh my god.
My warframe is strong.
Am I missing one? No, that's 8 out of 8. I can't count. Like, Xaku is my favorite. Like, I'm playing them now. I love Xaku. Like, they are my most used frame. Like, over Valkyr, which is saying something. I'm so excited. Like, I cannot stress how, like, when DE showed them off on the dev stream, how I got up out of my chair and was like, oh my god! Oh my god, I'm so excited. Just, I'm so excited for Xaku Prime. And then Trumna Prime, like, hello? Just, man.
That's what I call a cast iron non-disclosure agreement.
Oh, talking about NDAs. Fun. But, yeah, I am so excited. Like, that's not it. Like, yeah, I still have a few things left in the game to farm. Now I could go into it in more detail. So, Bone Widow, I am waiting for the double affinity weekend because fuck that. Fuck farm, like, leveling a necromech. The Aeolek, I am, like, these I'm leveling. For Prime, I have to wait for Mag Prime to come back. Imperator Vandal, I have to wait for the Fomorians to come back. The Lotto Vandal is ESO. Fucking C rotation, it's a 2%. And nobody goes to C rotation anymore. Nami Skyla is Saren Prime, so I have to wait.
Time for themselves. Pressure creates
Vera
silence,
Prime,
yes,
No, Nami Skyla is Hydroid. And Spira Prime is Saren. Yes. Like, yeah, Xaku is my most used frame. Like, just bar none. I'm so excited. Okay, let's see. Like, that's why I'm doing, like, all this prep work. Of, like, I want as many relics as I can get the day Xaku Prime drops. Please. Capture on Jupiter. Jupiter just sucks as a tile set for farming the medallions. It's just not great. Because there's so many, like, big open rooms that you have to explore everything. It's like, oh, are you aware that there are caches, like, 100 meters high up into the ceiling? No? Oh, well, you missed it. Like, Jupiter is not the greatest tile set for farming medallions. Because sometimes it's fine. Sometimes you can get lucky. It's like, oh yeah, I got all 8. Good. Other times, oh boy.
We received intel that somebody vital to enemy operations is here. Find them and capture them.
This would be one here.
What an interesting place. I appreciate you doing this
One
task
here.
for me.
Ancients are the most powerful. Age and feeding has made them strong.
Thanks, operator. Like, it's funny. I cannot wait for 1999.
Target located.
Like,
Bring them in.
just, man.
We cannot let our target know we're here. Track them down quickly.
Like, I need to get my
Excellent work. We'll interrogate the
fashion
captive
frame
at the
sorted.
base.
Like,
Your
it's sort
part
of
is done
weird.
here, Tenno.
It's like, oh, we're getting the new Drifter outfits. But, like, we sort of need the outfits before we go back. Nice. So I may hold off on fashioning my Drifter until literally the update is out. And to get ready for that would be getting platinum, so I could buy whatever outfit I desire the day of. I'm like, I think I know what frame I'm taking if we are using frames, because maybe I will be taking Valkyrie Prime because she is still #1 in my heart. Who are you planning to romance? I don't know. Because I'll be honest, seeing the trailer of the Drifter about to kiss Arthur, ew. But I may still do it, like, once. Like, I'm thinking I might do Eleanor, because she's a badass bitch. But I don't know. Like, the romance system may be one that's like, oh yeah, I'll do it once. Any subsequent, like, times I play through 1999, nah.
Stay focused.
Or I may
There's
do
a
them
heavy
all
unit
just to be like, oh
approaching.
yeah, I know what this is like for all of them. Cool. It's... But, like, I will not lie, when I saw him, he like, oh wow, the Drifter's going in for a kiss. Just, ew! Ew! We're at 6. I can count.
For the Tenno.
Like, I have so many theories for 1999. That's like, I wanna write them on, like, the timeline that I've made. But I can't. Because it's not out yet. Oh, man. I want to know so badly. There we
Another
go.
job
8 out of
well
8.
executed.
I still have A ping. Thank you. Mark is red. For some reason, I was pulling it up on my phone and it wasn't going away. Just internally dying. Love when my audio randomly jumps up. God damn it. I need to... Bazarin, so I need to go to my operator. Because I have everything done with focus. All of my focus schools are done. Oh, I get another poster. Like, all of my focus schools are complete. I've gotten everything as... I have 12 Unairu posters. Yeah, the November dev stream. I wonder what day that'll be on. Moderize done. Naramon is not done. I still need a few things there. I wonder... Because technically speaking... Because I'm thinking of what... No, because DE is in Canada. So... It would be the 29th. If it was like any American company, it'd be the 22nd. Thursday, it's always a Friday. Except, like, there's a few where it's been a Saturday, but that's like, oh, it's TennoCon Saturday. So it should be either the 29th or the 22nd.
Operator, Ordis is sorry. Happy
But, like, it's usually the last Friday of the month.
Argon.
So it's probably going to be the 29th. Yeah, probably the 29th, because, like, DE doesn't really care that it's like, oh yeah, Thanksgiving, Black Friday. When was... I'm gonna see if I can't look up when they did the dev stream last year. Let me just look. 'Cause I feel like last year's like dev stream was on Black Friday. Doing this real quick. Live. No, okay, I can scroll. That's Whispers in the Walls, Road to Whispers in the Walls, so that's December. And that's Quest to Conquer Cancer. Dev stream 175. Gonna pause so it doesn't leak through. November 24th, 2023. November 24th, 2023. Yep, last Friday, even though that was Black Friday. Yep. So, probably will be that 29th. Sure. Like, I cannot wait, because, like, I think they said they're showing off the Nyx rework. It was like, oh, they showed off Trinity's rework, which it's better. It's better. Would wish, you know, her abilities stop having a cap for enemies. Please. Like, oh yeah, we increased the cap. It's like, why is there a cap on it in the first place? Please. Remove that and it'll be a lot better. Hey, Jupiter, I don't want to do Jupiter. God damn. We'll do what we can. And I think after we get a good amount of these done, go do some Steel Path incursions to get some extra Steel Essence. Because I have enough Steel Essence. Like, I think it's you could get 25
You are here
relics
to
a
find our
week,
target and bring them to the
and
extraction
it's like
point.
375 steel essence in total. Oh, god damn it. The nullifier. And it's like, I think I have like 400. So it's like,
You're still in the clear.
I'm
No detection
technically
from
done
enemy
with farming
sensors.
steel essence, but at the same time, I don't want to just spend it all and be like, oh well, there goes all my steel essence, it's gone
Target
now,
located.
goodbye.
Bring them in. We
You know, I
cannot
want to
put a
have that
target
reserve
nowhere
of
here.
like,
Track them down quickly.
oh well, maybe I'll get more. Say it's like
Mission
I'm really
complete.
struggling to get the
captive has been
relics.
escorted to the
Oh,
extraction
when
point.
reset
Well done.
happens, I could get a few more relic packs out of Teshin. Turn Teshin upside down and shake him like a piggy bank. There's one here. Is that two? Or did I tell you? Yeah, I told you to hold. My bad. Okay, that's probably one down there.
Stay focused.
There's
There's
nothing
a
more
heavy
down
unit
here,
approaching.
so we go up here. But then also, speaking of, because I was talking about like different farms I still need to do, one of those I forgot to mention is the Ziphos. That ship, I'm still missing. I have every other part for that ship, apart from one. And I believe it's the avionics or the fuselage. Because that is sabotage missions. Sabotage, and then you need to get all 3 of the caches. The fashion option for Xaku. Isn't it that we'll be able to, while playing the mission, still see, like, since I'm skeleton right now, oh, I'll be able to see the full body of Xaku? Because as nice as Xaku looks, this is the reality of playing Xaku. This is how I spend basically the entire mission as a skeleton. So yeah, I'm excited about that. That they're making that change. Like, I remember, like, it makes sense for DE, like with Avara, of like, hey, her Prime looks really nice and all, but you spend the entire mission invisible. And they changed that. And I'm so happy they decided and took that attitude with Xaku of like, hey, you spend the entire mission like this. No longer be nude. Like, you spend the entire mission like this. Like, oh. So I'm happy they're making that change. And I hope in the future, I really hope they lean into like the more Entrati designs for Primes as well, because that, it's such a cool aesthetic. I hate, like, I will say, visually I love looking at it. From a drawing perspective, goddamn, I hate it. Because drawing all the little individual circles makes me want to cry. But that's just, I dislike drawing circles in general. Nice. 8 out of 8. We continue on. Because I think... Because we just got Sevagoth Prime. And now we're getting Xaku Prime. So technically it should be a female frame next. Right? Warframe Prime schedule. Because Lavos got hard skipped over for... Damn. Yeah, Lavos got hard skipped over. Unless, like, they have two options here of... It could go Sevagoth, Xaku, and Xaku being non-binary, they take the place of the male frame. They take Lavos' place, and he gets pushed back. And then it's Ureli and then Geyer, or Geyer Ureli. Or they have it be Xaku doesn't take the place of a male frame. Xaku just is inserted in the pattern, and it goes Sevagoth, Xaku, keep with the male frame and go Lavos, and then Ureli and Geyer. Which, we'll see how, like, it's ultimately up to DE how they decide to do that. Dante, Lavos, and Corvex? Yes. I think they should.
Now, who would be knocking all the way out
I know
here?
Medusa's gonna be extremely happy when we get Lavos Prime. That's her boy. Don't want to do a capture on Jupiter. I don't want to do Jupiter in general. But we'll do a Neptune. But we're gonna hope, because I believe this is a Corpus ship tile set, that the medallion does not spawn in the Granum Void. Please. I've had it be where it's like the 5,000 medallion. Okay, we're good. Never mind. We don't have to worry about that. But it sucks. The one worth the most. Oh yeah, it's just in the Granum Void. I can't find it.
Corpus have tech weapons.
Because even though I saved my Orc and I, no idea where it is. I wish they would fix that. There we go. Okay, it's just an exterminate, so... Clear everything out. Enemies and things. Oh, nothing down there. No, I don't need to waste my Orc and I here. It's usually... There's not too many medallions here. It's a big open area. Not worth it. Okay, this is a dead end. Good, good, good. So, now I'll have to also look into, like, because it's not just the frames that we're getting with those Prime Access. Like, see what weapon, like, oh, Xaku did come with the Trumna. Like, huh, right. Let's see what weapons. I think what would make sense is for Lavos Prime, getting the Fidu Prime. Like, I like that shotgun. It's not bad. We came from that way. So we can just go this way. Big Fidu Prime, and I don't remember what other weapons came with Lavos. Off the top of my head. Yeah, Ureli's probably gonna get her signature, the bubble weapon, the compressor, will be primed, which, alright. Wonder what else. 'Cause I do not think they're ever gonna do, like, oh, a Necromech Prime. Like, no fucking way they're ever... Like, I'd love a Mausolon Prime. They're not gonna ever do that. Like, the Mausolon is powerful enough. Oh. They know we're here. Yeah, the Entrati. Isn't that the...
You have broken their ranks and they are on the run.
I have one pistol.
Another successful mission. Find
I can
extraction.
see the image of it in my head, but I don't... the name. Like, I know what it looks like. Goddamn. Because I might be thinking of the Catabolist, but, like, that feels... infested. Why is there... What? Just in case we're gonna ping this. Yep. I did miss one. Oh, I see what I did. I didn't check down here and up there. Oh, 8 out of 8. We're done, so I don't have to check up here. Nice. 3 and 4. Not terrible. Pretty average. But yeah, if you can't tell, like, when getting medallions, I like to try to hope for more of the ones worth 1,000 than 500. Just hop, skip, and a jump.
Mission complete. Excellent work, Tenno.
Gotta try to keep this up. Like, yeah, I'm not gonna get like full 6 relic packs out of Suda or Arbiters, but like, you know, I'll get 2 out of Suda, and hopefully by the time Xaku's out, I'll have at least 1 from Arbiters. Keeping everything in balance. Now I want to know... We're gonna go to Deimos real quick, because now I'm... That's not Deimos! I mean... Technically it is. Wrong hub on Deimos. We're gonna go to the Necrolith on Deimos. Yep. I want to know that name of it.
It's the miner.
Good.
Knowledge you, gratitude.
I don't want to deplete my stock of like
I believe
Nomalon
you
and
need to
Dagonic.
say thank you.
Because God, why does everything need Dagonic?
See, I knew we were friends.
Everything needs Dagonic. 7 isn't bad.
See, I knew we were friends.
12, 8 is better than 12. And it's a nice even number.
Be great. Do.
Tenno, good
Done.
to see you.
Okay, 75. God, why do they all want Vulm residue? Jesus. Like, I wish the residue was affected by boosters, but it's not. Okay, solid 80.
Pleasure transacting with you.
Roswares. Carotnos. That feels a little infested. The Sepulchrum. That's the weapon. Oh my god. Yeah, that makes total sense. If Xaku gets the Trumna, let Lavos have the Sea-Doo, which is right here. I know it's in this shop. Let
The life forms of Deimos will be picking you out of their
Deimos?
teeth unless you have an edge.
Yeah, but let
I can help.
Lavos Prime have the Sea-Doo and the Sepulchrum.
I guess you know what's best for you. Don't
Yep.
go getting infested now.
Let's see, daughter. I don't have any
There's
fish
a
anymore.
lot you can do with the parts. Bring one back and I'll show you.
I love that she's listening to online. Nice. I think, is it like this weekend or like the next when we get the Archon shards? I think that's like The 15th or 16th. Yeah, it's like next week that we get those. Now let's just clear her out.
See you soon?
Sun, because we already went to Otak.
Tenno, you appear
Finally
quite
got
intact
white
and
velocipods.
well-sealed.
Like, I
This
had
is
to
good.
look up a guide
If you
for,
intend to
like,
venture out,
where the
perhaps
fuck
we
do I
might talk
find them?
samples?
Oh, easy. Easy 5 tokens. Don't want to get rid of all of them. We'll do this. Yeah. Yeah, when the companion changes came out,
Farewell.
like,
Travel safe. I shall
man,
languish
trying
in
to get
weary
all of
solitude until you return.
the tags that I've been missing. Whew.
You and I have a chinwag.
Otak. We'll do the daughter tokens. Have a lot of those. Otak and son. You know what? Sure.
Magnificent.
Son, daughter, mother. Father, Otak, mother. Daughter, father, son. I want to save father a bit. Let's do this. One more. Do daughter tokens.
May you have
Why not?
much joy of it.
I can't get any more standing, but just... Oh, if that wasn't 24.
Of course.
Yeah, so I can't trade in anything now, but
As you wish.
later on I'll have it for more relic packs. Good here. So like all of this to just be so prepared. Did I pause my music by accident? No, I didn't. It's just quiet. Let me look. Yeah, it just got quiet. Damn.
All the universe's complexity.
There we go.
There's
I made it a little bit too loud. There we go. It's like, did I turn my music down too low? I did. Nightwave is done. Okay, let's do mobile defense, as much as I hate it at times. Like, it's nice because I get 2 pings of the Orc Eye of my air support, but at the same time, the mission takes so long that I get 2 pings of it.
This is a mobile defense mission.
Please don't spawn in the Granum Void. Please don't spawn in the Granum Void. Please don't spawn in the Granum Void.
Be prepared for heavy resistance. I can't do this without you.
It is time for those against us to pay.
Please don't spawn in the Granum Void. Please don't spawn in the Granum Void.
Robotics.
That is my
Corpus never fight for
one
themselves.
and only hope for this tile set. Please.
I need access to a terminal.
Clear out
Find
this
one
side of the
and patch
room,
me in.
since this is the side we're coming from.
Here is
Pretty
a
good.
terminal. Get
Let's go.
me in and get ready to defend.
So do a pulse here.
I'm in, Tenno. This will
Real
take a
quick.
moment.
Okay, this might be the way to the next one, so we'll hold off. We're gonna see if this is a dead end, which it is. Good. So I know the way to the next terminal. Oh, we got nothing in that ping. Damn. Damn. Upsetty spaghetti.
Still working on it. Continue to defend.
Keep our
Stay
energy
focused.
up.
There's a heavy unit approaching.
Where? It's Shredder! Where? I'm sorry, I like memes a little too much. A little too much. You know, gotta stay happy, gotta stay positive.
Area completed.
Oh, I
Move
need
on.
this. I require
Looks like heavy
the
activity
terminal.
ahead.
The database? What? I'm blanking on the name for this. It's gone. It's out of my mind. I'm losing my mind. Ever so slowly. Go.
Location reached. Drop me in and defend our position.
Come on. No. Nope. No, I would like to grab this because it's a 5,000. I still need 6. That was number 2.
I'm in, Tenno.
Okay,
This
nothing
will take a
there.
moment.
My warframe is strong.
Okay, so this is a dead end, so we're free to explore it real quick. Nothing in it though. Unfortunate. Because these missions aren't bad if you have a good setup. Like, I have Xaku. It's easy. Anything that's not
Still working on
nailed
it.
down, bolted down,
Continue to defend.
probably something good. But you don't need Xaku to do this. It's just a little bit harder. Because I know Zephyr is a really good box breaker frame that you can get in clans or through doing circuit. And then I think I used to do, I don't remember if it was like Gara, because Protea wasn't out yet, I don't think.
We are finished.
I
here.
might have played
Move on.
Mirage. Oh, it's a data mass. It says on the fucking left. Data mass. Like, I might have been Mirage, and I took the Ignis Wraith, and I just manually walked up to basically everything in the map to break it. Like, hey, that's how you learn the spots. Oh, there's 2. Love that. Also, I will say, since we're on the Corpus tile set, I do wish we could play the old, like, Corpus ship and, like, Jupiter maps, at least, like, if not, like, permanently, for, like, a day or 2. Because it's just, I want the nostalgia again of, like, yeah, this is how the tile sets looked when I started playing. Like, now I can only see that, like, with videos, but at the same time, it's not the same. Because I know all the spots. All the medallion spots, all everything. Air support has 23 seconds left on cooldown. Is this a dead end? No. We're gonna mark it, just in case. And go see if this is a dead end. It is not. I'm going to cry. Do not like when that happens.
Still working on it. Continue to defend.
Gonna get as close to in between these as possible, and then we're gonna ping. Got 1. Okay. 20 seconds left. Did you manage to get access to Soulframe? Yes, I have been playing Soulframe since March, but obviously I couldn't really stream it because of the NDA. But
Odds were against us, Tenno.
I've been having fun with Soulframe. Like, it's a different change of pace to Warframe, yes, but like, it's still extremely fun. Like, the combat is nice. Like, when people online were like, oh, the combat looks so janky, and it felt fine, but they have made, like, major improvements as well. Like, on my Twitter, I posted some images of and finally some videos of like, hey, these are like screenshots I took while bug reporting or getting feedback reporting. Like it's different. Like, I can say it might not be everyone's cup of tea, but it is like, oh, I want more. Like, I want to play this more. Like, the one drawback is it is pre-alpha. So, like, it is janky. God damn, I think the last one is in the Grand and Void. We're at 7 out of 8. I combed through this entire map. It's not worth it because I'm not gonna find it. Nope, we're going 7 out of 8. But like, Soulframe is fun.
Excellent work,
It might not be everyone's cup of tea. I really enjoy it because it's just like, it's a change of pace from Warframe. And it's not a bad thing. Of like, hey, I'm sort of tired of like, oh, I need to farm this in Warframe. Okay, I'm gonna hop on Soulframe. I get to do a completely different experience. But yeah, that was sort of like yesterday of like, oh, the Soulframe NDA is lifted. I can talk about it. I can stream it. Like, just the return. Anything in Circuit? The Octavia, or not great weapons though. I think that's all the syndicates I really want to do, because just Jupiter sucks. I do not like doing Jupiter. Let's see. Field path incursions. Okay, not bad. We'll go on public matchmaking just to make it a little faster. Don't love interception, but you know, this one's nice. You know what? We'll start with Xaku Perimeter. Just gonna get some steel essence to top up on getting relics. Yeah, like anything you see for like Soulframe, like even while playing it on stream yesterday, like, oh wow, this puzzle.
Their rage is vehement, their focus.
Jesus Christ, Heshin.
Give them
my ears.
all warriors' death.
Oh, hello. Like, I was making sure to call out, hey, pre-alpha. This is pre-alpha. It is not done. Like, there are still some bugs to work out. There are still things that's like, yeah, this will change. Still a tiny bit upset because my account got reset and it's like, oh, I need to farm everything again, but it's not bad. Okay, it's nothing. Oh, I am holding the key to this, and I just walked past it.
As you can see, being a student is the easy part.
I held the key to it, and I forgot that's how those work. Go. Oh, there's the Centurion.
My warframe is strong.
Because I know I've been watching Brozyme experience it for the first time. Like, he's been having fun, and I'm happy that it's like that's just the experience of like, give it a shot if you like it. Hell yeah. Because I know, like, new players or new invites are getting, like, promo codes for their friends. And because I got it back in March, it's like, well, they're gonna see what they can do about the promo codes. Because I would like those. Like, please? Like, I understand why it's taken a little while to be like, okay. Where is that fucking weapon? Found it. But, like, taking a while to get that ready. I was like, oh, well, you don't want to give out a code to, like, say maybe someone who got kicked out of Preludes. Because, well, they broke the NDA. Like, I'm fine with that. I'm like, yeah, you broke the NDA. Like, hey, you had to be kicked out. Like, you gotta wait until the game goes to, like, open alpha. Like, I got lucky. Like, I signed up at, like, TennoCon 2023 to be added. And then it took a few months to get my access. But, like, they're adding more people every week in the Discord. There they are. Don't you dare. What is... oh. Nothing. I want to say, like, why is there just something floating in the air? And I need to... one day... I need, like, to just get a shit ton of quills again. Because I'm starting to, like, run out. Which is wild. Oh, nice.
You broke them. Nice.
Oh! Shit. Let me mark that. Got the key. I need to do, like, a day where I just get a shit ton of quills.
Attack us, and we will counter.
Yep. I'm surprised we didn't get an acolyte. For 5 minutes in? Would have thought one would have spawned. Oh well. Man. It's November and it's still like 60 degrees outside. It's crazy. Like, I don't... like, I like that it's nice and like 60 degrees, but at the same time, I also just want it to be like...
I never liked to stay too long in the reliquary drive
stay in like the 50s and 40s so I can actually like seal up my window. Because I've been putting it off. Because it's 60 degrees. It's not that bad. But at the same time, it's like I want it to actually get colder. So I can like seal off my window, because I've had this issue with my windows for as long as I've been here.
Is possible.
Of my windows don't fully seal out the cold, and being in the Midwest, it gets fucking cold. And since my desk is right next to my window, you can imagine how cold that gets.
Yes. Goodbye for now.
So this year I was like, I'm not gonna suffer through this cold. And I bought some, like, I see the box over there. I can't read it because I don't have my contacts in. Too far away. But it's like this putty that you put to seal, like, oh, you have a crack in a window, crack in a door, and it seals it really well. Like, oh, it can get rained on, snowed, and it'll still stay. So I'm just waiting for, like, it stays in the 40s and 50s so I can just seal up my window with that. I don't have to suffer through the winter anymore. Freezing my ass off. Because last winter, I had to put, like, fabric in between just to stop it. Like, I put, like, towels, like, on my window. Like, to try just to slow that air. That, like, freezing cold air from getting in. Because it sucked. This year, I'm just waiting. Like, it's just constant 60s. And it's like, please, I wanna... But, I know we're gonna have that, like, day in December that's just 70s again. It's like, bruh. Oof. The weather is weird.
Underestimate them at your peril.
Like, Halloween actually sucked to be outside entirely. Like, it was 60 degrees on Halloween. The wind was bone chilling. Like, it was just, the wind was freezing. You went outside for like 5 seconds and you were freezing to your bones with how cold that wind was. Like, oh, like we only got a handful of trick-or-treaters. Normally we get a lot more. But, like, I don't blame, like, we were saying to people, like, the kids, just take a fucking handful or two, like, please. Jesus Christ. Okay, one more.
We've reached the prison. Find our prisoner in one of these cells.
Nice.
Stars, not a minute too soon.
Prisoner located. We need to get them
There we
back
go.
to command in one piece.
Oh,
Find your way to
I
the
let
exits.
my
Leave
abilities
the
run out.
subject behind.
Oops.
I need a weapon.
I don't have a weapon. Smile. Let's go. Man. Man, I still wish. Every time I go in an elevator, I wish they would change elevators in Warframe to be a little bit nicer. And by nicer, I mean, hey, if I'm at the top of the elevator, why do I have to wait? Like, they should be how it is sort of in Jupiter.
You are a blade.
For some of them.
Resist to strike. You strike to win.
If I'm at the top of the elevator, why can't it just be... Why do I have to wait for it to come all the way up? If I jump down the elevator, I'll be fine. I'm a warframe. There's no fall damage. Why can't it be... Why do I have to wait for it to come all the way up to go all the way back down? Why not instead... Oh, well, the default for the elevator, it starts down, but the doors at the top are open. Like, there's a tile in the void where that happens, and it's great. I love it. Like, you spawn at the bottom, you just go, you can either jump up, you fly up, or you take the elevator up. Or if you spawn at the top, you just jump down. Like, please. Why do I have to wait for an elevator? It sucks. Low defense. Just, that is like my one change I would make to elevators, because goddamn, I'm tired of just like, oh yep, we gotta wait for it to climb all the way up. Now we get in the elevator, wait for the entire squad, go all the way down. Like, that's the one change. Like, one change mechanic-wise. I have a lot more changes I would make story-wise. And lore-wise, which we'll get into later. Well, later. We'll get into soon.
The art of combat must be practiced to truly master the canvas of war.
Let's go.
Here is a terminal. Get me in and get ready to defend. I'm in, Tenno. This will take a moment.
This will take a moment. Probably not, because it's not leveled. Yeah. It is not leveled whatsoever. Frost for a little bit of defense.
Still working on it. Continue to defend.
Oh, that one person is just
focused.
struggling to get in, huh? Oh, I should. While we're here, you know, get some nice flowers. Just while we're at this tile.
We are finished here. Move on.
Hey, Gauss, you want to take it? Go.
To a terminal.
Or Frost.
Find one and patch me in. Terminal spotted. Upload me and prepare to defend.
But I will say,
this will take
since
a moment.
talking about like Soulframe and other games,
A Grenier assault team
I've been thinking about that I'm waiting on getting one of the games that I sort of want to play is Crime Scene Cleaner, because it just, like, I used to play the shit out of like House Flipper, but I sort of lost interest because House Flipper turned into like an actual like chore of like, wow. Renovating houses, man. Coming up with a brand new design for each room. Ooh. Like Crime Scene Cleaner seems
continue to defend.
Similar enough, but like I'm holding off until Black Friday because I don't want it to be like, yeah, I'm gonna buy it, and then immediately 2 weeks after, like if it was like, I don't know, March or summer, anywhere that's not like close to Black Friday, I'd be like, oh yeah, I'll get it now. Why not? But since it's like Black Friday's in a few weeks, I can wait. I don't need it that badly, so I'm thinking about that.
Keep moving.
That'll be another game that I want to play and stream. That could be fun. I think it'll be.
Drop me in and defend our position.
Like, yeah, cleaning is fun at times. At times.
I'm in, Tenno. This will take a moment.
Any other plans for me? No? Yes? No. Plant. See, I'm thinking about playing Soulframe today. I may do the Warframe timeline and then go get lunch. So head off stream and then come back of like, hey, let's play Soulframe. We'll see.
Continue to defend.
Because I'm still going on that. I think with Soulframe, I'm gonna switch my pact from Fae to Ode Tempest.
Stay focused. There's a heavy
why not?
unit approaching.
And I just need to. I need to work on farming stuff. I need to get my drafts back up because our accounts all got reset. Yay! Like, obviously it's good for the game. Like, they make big updates to have everyone on the same page. Especially when they're making these big changes to, like, the new player experience. It's like they want everyone to try it out. So they added a new way to get the blacksmith. Well, I already had the blacksmith, so if you want your player base to try it out, they gotta redo the blacksmith. There we go.
As
Mobile
you
defense
conquer the
complete.
foe, so you conquer yourself.
Yep. Another 5 steel essence. How much is that now? If it wants to let me hover over it so I can see, I'd love to know. Please give me my mouse. 400, and I think, what is it? Like, I have a calculator, that is my calendar. Calculator. I think it's 25 per week, and then it's for 15 each? Yeah, 375. So I have plenty of steel essence. This is just sort of topping up so I'm not just broke after getting all these relics. Which I think based on that, these relics will be the last thing I get on Wednesday. So I'll turn in all my syndicate medallions first. I'll turn in all of my open world standing next. And then lastly, I'll go through and go to Teshin and be like, please. Either it's like, oh, I just need a few more relics to top up, or it's like, I got shit on with my luck. Goddamn, please. We'll see. Because sometimes my luck with relics is great. Like, I've been opening a lot more relics, and some of them have been fine. Like, sometimes I'm like, what the fuck do you mean I keep rolling? Like, I'm bringing in tax. Why am I getting the rare or the radiant? Not radiant. Yeah, the rare out of it. Was right the first time.
Your enemies have grown fierce. Use all that you have learned.
Versus sometimes
My intel
it can be.
suggests there
Yeah,
are
I've brought
enemy
like.
supply caches in the
I've
area,
opened this
but I'm
radiant
unable to
relic
pinpoint their
15
exact
times
location.
over.
Search them out if you are willing to shoulder the added risk.
Still nothing. Like the pendulum swings. But that's just RNG. So I may be unlucky with the Lich Ephemeras. Lucky in other forms of RNG in this game.
The enemy are using a void key and a portable torsion beam device to force open the portal, destroy the key
There we
and
go.
the device. The portal only allows travel in one direction. Start up the portal generators to reverse the polarity.
Oh god, these regulators are so fucking tanky. Man, it's weird. Feels somewhat weird seeing an Inaros. Because my mind still says like, oh, no one plays Inaros anymore since they fixed... God, Inaros was the old meta of like, well, that's when DE really was like, no abilities. You can't use any abilities for any of this. Oh, you just need to stay alive.
Stay focused. There's a heavy unit approaching.
But now it's like, oh, we have Overguard, we have Gloom, if you need a little bit more survivability. We're just waiting. I love timers. Sarcastic. Oop. Waiting, I'm gonna lose my abilities, but that's fine. You go on through.
There's the torsion beam device, but they've taken the void key. Find it.
Fine. Oh, I missed. Oh, she just didn't spawn there in time. Damn.
More shiny bugs.
She will be remembered. Who will remember you?
They got it.
Quick, pick up the key. You got the key. Now get back to the portal.
I'll get back to the portal. And we're done.
Tenno, you do not
Run
want
on
to be
through.
On the side of the portal when that key melts down.
Oh, I did not bring any of those dragon keys. Unless you're specifically farming for it, it's not like I have all those
Objective
mobs.
complete. The Void Key and Torsion Beam device are out of commission. The enemy will not be returning anytime soon. Tenno, there are
Ow.
still
Ow.
undiscovered supply caches in the area.
Sir.
You may want to locate them before leaving.
Three out of four.
Your will
Need to do a
was
big
greater.
stretch.
This is good.
Stretch out the back. And no slouching. This is a posture check for everyone. Even myself. Because I also don't have the best posture. That's fine. It's A-okay. Just stretch the back out. Don't lean too far forward. Buy an interception. I don't want to do an interception. Do I have all my void traces done? Oh, I'm a little... Let's do a relic mission. Also try to get Forma. Try to get Forma blueprints because I need those. And then I want to top up with void traces because I know I'm going to tear through them for Xaku. Just absolutely like, oh yeah, this is a rare. Well, there goes all my void traces.
These foes deserve your respect. Honor them.
This is Steel
with
Path.
good deaths.
You know what?
Die with your victory.
It'll be fine.
Void Fissures. You need them to open a relic, but are you
I
confident
forgot.
you can withstand
This
their
was Steel Path.
A fissure. Defend yourself and use reactor.
Yeah, we'll be
to
fine
open
on getting
relics.
reacted. Like, when they changed the void
Enemies are
traces,
dropping reactants.
like, oh yeah, they're
Keep fighting.
however percent more likely to drop. Even just that small change. So good. Such a good change.
Stay focused. There's a heavy unit approaching.
Also, I have been gifted a war crime.
Your relic is opened.
Yeah, just Xaku with double affinity range and strength. Yeah, this is fine. This totally breaks no Geneva Conventions in game, I will say.
Keep going. Nobody knows you're here.
Oh, I didn't even press my one yet. Damn. We'll be done real soon. Oh, how many void traces? 24. So we'll be around like 60.
The enemy is broken. Well done. Now get to extraction.
I do need a tiny bit more void traces. Void traces, and it's like, see what prime sets I can sell. Probably this weekend when they're... Like, I will do my market day off stream because that can be really boring. It's literally just me sitting in my dojo. Like, literally sitting in my dojo just waiting. Of like, oh, updating the market site. Oh, I have this to sell, I have this to sell. Oh, someone undercut me in the price. Well, it's not a fun, like, hour or two. Like, I get a good amount of platinum. I don't have the epitaph. No, wait, I do. Crafted, owned. I would like an extra blueprint so I can sell that later, you know?
They fought well. Good deaths, all.
But yeah, it's not the most exciting thing to do. Like, just, yeah, let me sit in my dojo for an hour or two. Like, tallying up, oh, how many credits have I gotten today? oh, this person wants this. Oh, but I just got a message that this person wants this, and I have to. It's overwhelming, but it's like, damn. Let's no. Like no. Like at the same time, I'm just sitting in my dojo, just doing that over and over and over. Like okay, not the most exciting thing. Like I have enough platinum to buy whatever drifter outfit I want. But you can't go wrong with a little bit more. Also, speaking of platinum, I forgot to decorate Mortis. I don't know where he should go, actually. On the foundry? No. Didn't have my Urelli, I would. I should put it in the personal quarters. I still need to redo this because this got cleared. But yeah, I have like oh you've been through a lot of this game, right? Every dog day sleuth, every Ortis.
Would be knocking all the way out here.
Every day moose. Day
right.
moose. Every day most floof. These are from Nightwave. These I don't remember where we got them from. I know I got them from yeah, every Eidolon Articula. Every Cetus Sleuth, the 1,000-Year Fish. Star Days. Nightwave. Nabaris. Every Fortuna Fluff. Every Fortuna Floof and the Profit Taker Articula, the Exploiter Articula, I do have. He's just in another room. Or I need to put her back because I had her here. Nihil is here. Nightwave. Jawsin. Punkera. Random Noggles. We're just doing an orbiter tour. All of my legendary plaques. All of them, they had to start curling around because I ran out of room. Whoopsies. Yeah, Profit Takers here, Exploiters here. This was for 10 October because I needed references. So you can see the setup that was required for some of these. I have Jade's Shadows, Dax, New War, so Hessian, Call, Viso, Era, Ortis with his owl form. This is clipping into the wall, I just noticed. Nope. Gotta go on the wall. Nope, on the wall. You know what? Sure. Yeah. Angel Zeramin, Viri, Lotus, and then the Focus Schools. I think I still have, yep, there's a Tusk Thumper up there. A little bit infested, it's okay. All my Shawzins here. I've gotten so many Shawzins from fucking just watching Prime Time. Oh my god. Bird 3 and Tag Fur, Conquera Floofs. A lot of memories. Yes. TennoCon 2021 from being featured. Kara again. All the syndicates, the old Corpus Lockers. Because man, when they said they were putting Conclave here, yeah, no, my shelves, no. All the Sealed Path, all the years I've done 10 October, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, and 2024. I ran out of room. This side is the Women and Xaku for Prex cards. women, and Xaku. And then this side is the men. Still need a second Kome set for Hellman. I need to do that. I think... What I want to do... Or do I just want to jump into the Warframe timeline? Because that's going to take a while to explain. That's going to be a lot of talking and going over. You know what? Yeah, let's do that. Let's do the Warframe timeline. I'm ready. So let me get that open. That's gonna take. Okay, let me get it to a nice thing. We'll just, there we go. And let me set up my window capture. Is it? Gotta change it. Should be this? Yeah! Okay. I need to change the window a bit to be a little better to see. Grab it. Over. Still need it to be a little wider. Come on. Nope, that's the wrong window. That's Soulframe. And you're not going to see the top and bottom anyway. Okay. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. So, welcome. This is just the guide. So we'll go over this real quick before getting into it. So, the general guide for this timeline. Also full props to Brozine for this idea and this program. That makes it so much easier. Because I was going to write this out in a Word document. I would have cried if I did that. But blue is Operator Story, orange is Drifter Story, green is Albrecht and 1999, gold is the Orchid Empire, they love their gold, red is Old War and New War, cause blood. White is post-New War Operator / Drifter, basically where you get to pick if you are the Operator or Drifter from now on. Purple is anything that is my theories, any of like things I've added on. So like I added stuff to make a little bit more sense. I added my New War rewrite and then any like speculation. So welcome to the Warframe timeline. And trust me when I say this is as compact as I could get it. Welcome to this behemoth. I think this took me 2-3 weeks to write out of just going through every single quest in Warframe, every single like past event, seeing like is there lore, looking up different quotes of what everyone said, like wow, that's a lot. But welcome to the Warframe timeline. So we're gonna start not with 1999 because that's back here, but we're gonna start with the Orchid Empire, which I do actually now want to change my window so it actually fits. Let me you a little bit bigger, you a tiny bit smaller. Okay. But it's still too. I think I got it all in the window. I think I got it. Hold. That is Soulframe. I keep editing the wrong. Stop. There we go. Now you can see exactly what I see. So welcome to the Warframe timeline. So, first thing we know. The Orchid Empire forms. We don't know when. We don't know how. They just do. So they make Cephalons, the Grenier, Infested, Sentience, Necromex, the Dax, Zeraman, Discover the Void, they harness Kuva. Basically, they are everything that went wrong with the system we have. So, important features of the Empire. We have the Emperors, we have the Executors, we have the Orokin. And I know there's a little bit of contention on the Emperors, of like, oh, the Executors are the Emperors. No. In my head, no. There's the 7 Emperors. They had Oro, which gave them immortality. The Executors, we know Ballas. We only know 4 of the 7. There was Tavol, Ballas, 2 more. 1 got killed by Varuna. And there's another one that I'm forgetting. The Orokin, that are the higher ups. There's Cephalons, and then there's Kuba. Then, like, it doesn't really matter for the rest of this of, like, when, say, the Grineer were created versus the Corpus were founded, the Infested. It doesn't matter. Just, it happens. It doesn't matter. But then we have our factions under the Orokin. So the Infested, the Dax, the Grineer, the Corpus. And then I will explain this, is basically I made this up because I was writing my operator story to try to make the Orokin Empire make a little more sense. Because just the lore throws around a lot of words like Archimedean, Loris, Sectaris. Like, so how the fuck did, like, are those jobs? Are those, like, fundamental, like, classes of society? Like, well, the Dax, those are soldiers, but they are bound to the Kuva. Like, if you get what I'm saying. So this was just my attempt to be like, yeah, all of these, like, different ranks are all in this same, like, class. Just together. So, like, they're technically above humans, but, like, just putting them all together and being like, done. So the Archimedeans, so those are scientists and scholars. Loris were healers, and I think there's lore entry on that. Enginists, yeah, military, like, from what I can tell and what I sort of made up, like, they're military commanders and generals. Sectaris, like, oh, they commandeer ships and chart their navigation. Like, oh, without the solar rails, like, oh, well, you need a good captain. Like, oh, there's temple guardians, and, like, it just to make it a little bit less chaotic. And speaking of chaotic, but yeah, like, sometime the Grineer are created, the Corpus are founded, sentients, not sentients, we'll get to the sentients here, but the Infested are created, the Void is discovered and starts being used, like the Void discovered by Albrecht, a mysterious realm of extra-dimensional space outside of time. Several different regions in the Void exist, so we have Duviri, we have, like whatever pocket of space the Zeramin is in, like, we have Granum's Void, used for space exploration and travel. Like, it's kept open and accessible through Albrecht's invention, the Heart. The Heart is responsible for channeling Void-related energies into our reality and keeping the Wall of Lok open. With the Heart of Deimos, that's where we learned that. But we'll come back to this. We'll come back to it up here. So obviously, major spoilers for every single quest in Warframe. Major spoilers for every single quest. So sometime along, the sentients are created. So resources are dwindling. Like, the Infested are roaming free. The Orokin are like, hey, we need an exit strategy. So the sentients are created. So, created by Archimedean Parentol. Terraform the Tau system for the Orokin to travel to. They were initially against the idea of machines given sentience and the ability to replicate, but they go through with it anyway. Because, oh, well, we're desperate. We built in a weakness. But the sentients then rebelled and became the primary threat to the Empire, starting the Old War. Which I don't think... Okay, so I do have a point to this of like, oh, sentients are created, and then the Zeramin incident of like, okay, well, the Zeramin incident, yeah, were the sentients or the Zeramin sent to Tau first is debatable. Like, it's an eternalism in itself. Of technically, you could say the sentients were sent first, and then the Zeramin was sent afterwards. Of like, oh wow, the sentients, they must be nearly done terraforming. Cool, let's go see and explore this brave new system. Like, the Zeramin was sent after, just in case, like with like terraforming machines, because we know it had it. Like, but you could also say the Zeramin was sent first and failed. That's why they approved of the sentients being sent. Like, because they were so desperate, like, this failed, now it's time for the sentients. Or sentients went, oh, they must be done by now, let's go send our people. Because they didn't have contact with the sentients when they were out in Tau. No. So, like, it's either or. Like, will we get an answer? I'm probably going to say this a lot with the timeline. No. Probably we'll never know. Like, maybe they'll clarify it one day. But eventually the Zeramin incident happened. So our timeline splits because of eternalism. So, our operator, like the Zeramin 10-0, was a colony ship built by the Orkin. Disappeared after an accident jumping from Saturn to the outer gates in an effort to reach the Tau system. The ship later reappears. The only survivors are the children who have been changed by the void and given powers. So our operator are Tenno. The children are rescued and put into isolation. The ship itself is deconstructed. And then I have a note here of timeline, like was it days or years? Because I think it's either Ember. I think it's Ember Prime description. Like, obviously, it's old. Like, it could be that this got rewritten. We don't know. Like, days later or years later, because Ember Prime's codex is like, oh, Kayleen closed the case, but then reopened it days later. So was it closed? Like, oh, the case for the Zeramin was open for years. Just when it was closed was reopened. Like, oh, was the Zeramin gone for a small amount of time for the system, but then the on board it was years, or vice versa, of like, oh, it was only a few days on board and a few years in the system. It's weird. But basically, with the deal with Wally, 2 timelines. Operator, Drifter. So the operators are experimented on. In order to study them, they're put into stasis in the reservoirs to contain their uncontrolled powers. They are taken care of by Margulis. But then there's the other half of the timeline that didn't get rescued, and the Drifter gets stuck on the Zeramin. Due to eternalism, there's a version of the operator that did not take the deal with Wally. They do not get rescued from the Zeramin. So, eternalism, the theory that the future and the past are all as real as the present. All can be accessed through the void. All possible choice/chance events are real in separate realities. So, like the multiverse theory of you flip a coin, one universe you flip it and it's heads, then other it's tails. Oh, what do I want to eat? Pizza or pasta? There's a universe where you chose pizza. There's a universe where you chose pasta. Both of those realities are real. You just get assigned to one. But the other you, that's still real. Like, yeah, for Warframe, the past and present are accessible through time travel, but I will say not the future. CE was really smart in making 1999 the past, because that's just the limits of time, you know? Like, that's just a meta perspective of, well, how do you portray the future? Like, it's like, that's a little chaotic. You're like, yeah, Albrecht went forward in time. What? Because also, from a meta perspective and a story writing perspective, when you go to the future, you're kind of writing yourself into like a narrative hole, or a narrative like dead end, where it's like, okay, well, now you have to work towards that future. Like, theoretically, you can pivot away from it and be like, oh, you made a different choice than that future, so that future won't come to pass. But, like, you sort of pigeonholed, that's the term, and they're like, well, if that's the future, it has to come true. Like, so it's much easier to write, like, for the past. Like, yeah, a little less chaos. In my mind, you cannot travel to the future. Like, for me. Like, Albert can send a message forward in time by it. Like, the reason Albert can send a message through our frame is he attaches it to us. Like, oh, the message gets sent back through our transference stream to our present. Like, he didn't send it to the future. Yeah. Albert didn't send the message that we get in Whispers on the Wall to the future. We, as agents of our present, went back to the past and took that with us to our present. Like, there is no, like, he sent it to the future, essentially. Ooh. But yeah, due to the deal with the Man in the Wall, the timeline has been changed. When the Void was indifferent, the timelines in the Void were chaos. A basic multiversal mess with timelines having branches and branches. So, I think with the deal with the Man in the Wall is my theory of the collapsing of timelines theory. So, the Man in the Wall, what we see in the handshake scene, one interpretation is that Wally collapsed every reality apart from the operator and drifter, i.e., the past doesn't matter so long as a sequence of events occurs for the Tenno to make the deal for him to eventually leave the Void. So any timeline that's like, oh yeah, the Zeramin didn't happen, gone. So we could have different pasts, like past timelines, but they all have to lead to this like nexus point or convergence point of the Zeramin goes to the Void and the deal both happens and doesn't. Like, the deal is this nexus point in time that Wally has created to give himself whatever he wants because, I don't know, it's Wally. Yeah, it looks like a sideways tree. So the roots are all of the past converging into the nexus point of the deal. And then after that, our timeline branches more and more. But Drifter gets stuck on the Zeramin. We're going to skip over to the Drifter real quick. Yeah, they're stuck. They deny Wally's deal. It leaves Zeramin and ends up trapped in Duviri. Duviri, they're stuck in a time loop of a single day that is ruled by the music dominus tracks. So it should be said, because there is still some confusion, the Drifter is the same age as the Operator. The only reason they look older is that they aged physically, then got stuck in the time loop, versus the Operator got put into stasis almost immediately after leaving the Void. So, the Duviri Islands are a creation of the Drifter from the Tales of Duviri book written by Euleria Entrati, or Mother. Drifting through the Void, her name is Gometro. The process of conceptual embodiment, their emotions and memories react, creating the Kingdom of Duviri. Dominus Rex takes control and traps the Drifter to prevent them from leaving. They become apathetic, forgets having created Duviri in the first place. Albrecht visits the Duviri Islands, but it is unclear how long he stayed. We don't know. Like, we know he was there. Like, Dominus Rex allowed him to have a lab, but then he left. Love Albrecht for just jumping timelines again. But yeah, conceptual embodiment. So like when the Void interacts with a physical conscious being, when strong memories, thoughts, emotions come into contact with enough Void energy, there's a reaction. So these emotions, these memories take a physical form. So like, this is the Void Angels, the Thrax Centurions, Legates, Duviri itself gives a form of resurrection through the Holdfasts, and like their memories like start coming to life. But we're gonna leave the Drifter in their time loop for a bit, and we're gonna go back. Because now the sentients have returned and the old war starts. So the operators are the stasis, Drifters in Duviri, or, you know. So the sentients sent to Tower return to fight Orikand. I'll zoom in a little bit. So they would not be able to bring Ruin to Tower as well. They are powerless. Whatever they throw at the sentients is adapted to. But primitive tech works, so the Infested and the Grineer. We have important sentience, so Hunhao, we have Nata, we have Era. Hunhao controlled the army. He is possibly the most powerful sentient. He was destroyed during the Old War, sealed deep under the oceans of Uranus. Spoiler alert. Nata, sentient mimic and daughter of Hunhao, tasked with infiltrating the Orkin to destroy them and then the Tenno themselves. Era created the Archons and Hunhao's son. So the Orkin, namely Executor Ballast, develops the warframes by harnessing the Helminth strain and using it on human hosts to create infested super soldiers. This was deemed a failure because they could not control them, and they turned on their Orkin master. Ballast, member of the Seven Executors, creative warframes, romantically obsessed with Margulis, and is able to control the warframes and sentience to some extent, as we see in the Sacrifice. It's not perfect. It's like he's able to control Umbra, but, you know, we're still able to stab him. So, the warframes are deemed a failure. How did they then work later? Well, in the Rhino Prime Codex, we learn the Tenno can control the warframes due to a process called transference. Many different warframes are created to fight in the Old War. So warframes also start being made for different purposes than just like fighters. So there's assassins like Ash, there's guards and guardians, there's peacekeepers, and then personal use of the Orkin. Sorry, Dagoth had to. But then also I have, once again from my story, ta-da! I have that the Orkin, so this is completely my theory, but I feel it makes sense. Like, this is completely my idea. So there's this idea of there are template Tenno and there are replicant Tenno. So in my mind, each Tenno, they have generic void powers. Like, you know, the Void Blast, Void Jump, or Void Sling. They have, you know, they can use an amp. All that good stuff that we get in the the War Within. But there are two classes or distinctions that the Orkin placed upon the Orphans of 10-0. So there are the templates. So in addition to the general void abilities, they have more void abilities that is specific to them. So these are operators whose void given abilities are deemed useful. They have a warframe based on their powers. So you take any frame and you look at their ability set and it's like, yeah, there was an operator that they had those abilities first. Sort of, like, based on the Rhino Prime Codex. Like, you look at, say, Rhino. Well, he was rampaging. He didn't have his abilities yet. He was just a frame. Just this big, beefy tank warframe. But as soon as the operator came in, then you got Iron Skin. You got his Stomp. Those abilities given by the Void, by the operator. If that makes sense. So, like, the templates, these are operators like, oh, like, they took these abilities, they looked at them, and the Orkin went, okay, let's make a frame based on that. Like, they have stronger powers, so like strength, duration, efficiency, range, in the frame that is based on them only. So, like, say if, like, your character, like, oh, they were the template for, I'll say Mirage, because I've been playing Mirage recently, then they would be stronger in Mirage because that frame is based on them and their abilities. So it's literally, it's just them. But for, like, if the Mirage operator were to, oh, now they're playing Xaku, well, they're gonna be the same as everyone else. And then the replicants, these are operators whose void given abilities are either just more general or just less useful. So they're not given their own warframe based around their abilities. They just use the warframes based on the templates. So, like, yeah, do you see at the bottom? a means of explaining as to why there, like, we see in the Era cinematic all the reservoir pods of how many Tenno there are. Like, are there hundreds of Tenno? Maybe. 1,000? Maybe. But it sort of explains why there can be so many Tenno, but only, like, so many designs for warframes. Obviously, this is just, like, yeah, a way to explain it in universe of, like, well, there are a lot more players than, you know, just, we can't exactly have 1,000 frames. So it's my little way of, like, explaining, like, yeah, like, they built templates. And then, like, oh, well, if you're a template or you're a replicant, so you just replicate those powers. So it's like just a little in-universe, like, lore and explaining and, like, expanding on this idea of, well, how does this work? So, and it sort of leads into, like, well, for prime versus non-prime, well, the templates, they would just be, like, you either have to, yeah, either frames are made prime or they earn their primes, as we learned from Varzia. So that's how we get those different distinctions of, well, certain frames, they were just made prime. The originals are prime. But there's nothing that says, like, a replicant with a more general void set, they can't earn the prime for that frame, sort of thing. That's a long tangent. But, yeah. They utilize the somatic link. So, around this time, before the warframes are made, because I'm jumping ahead a little bit, so Tenno were taken care of by Margulis. So she was our original caretaker. She stood up to the Orchid and helped the Tenno deal with the abilities, well, with their overwhelming abilities, even though she was blinded. Along with Sylvana, I need to take a sip of water. They developed the somatic link for the operators to control, like, to control themselves, but, like, this protection leads to her death because she's ordered by the Seven because, you know, they want to use them as fighters. She objects. So she was romantically involved with Ballas, and she gets executed. So they want to use the warframes to fight in the war. And she is executed for crimes of apostasy and slain by the Jade Light, which now we know a lot more about. Which I feel like I should add a note of, like, because we know where the Jade Light comes from. Of, like, did Jade execute Margulis because she knew if she didn't, they would kill her and literally her unborn child at the time? Damn, mother killing a... Oh, man, mother killing a mother. I might have to add that later. So yeah, after Margulis' execution, Nata disguises herself and becomes the new mother to the Tenno. So the Tenno push back the sentience, Unhao allows himself to be destroyed, as per a plan between himself and Ballas. Era enters the reservoir and tries to reason with the now Lotus and is blasted by the Tenno. Lotus thinks he died. It is never explained what really happened. So, Lotus thinks she killed Era, and Era is just like, you're confused. Like, the Orkin did this to you. Like, it's so unclear of if Nata was brainwashed or manipulated by Ballas to turn against the sentience, or was forced to for the mission. It's because it's so unclear, because this information is told to us at a time where it's like, yeah, Era and Ballas were both fucking gaslighting her. Like, is she telling the truth? Like, that Era died? Well, obviously not. He's fine. Well, until later. But just the levels of, like, mental fuckery that's going on, and just gaslighting and brainwashing of, like, was it Nata's choice? Was it not her choice? Who knows? I don't. Nata, Lotus doesn't know anymore. Like, But basically, the sentients are pushed back. The Orkin gather to celebrate. Under Lotus's command, the Tenno strike down the Orkin elite. And because the Tenno have an Oro through their time in the Void, so that soul, they are the only ones that are able to permanently kill the Emperors. So the Lotus is firmly just born, whether it's programmed by Ballas or a personal choice, the Lotus is born from Nata. And due to the sentience becoming barren when crossing the Void, the Lotus becomes a mother, and whether it was brainwashing by Ballas or her own personal choice to protect the Tenno, she does not kill them. Ordis! Yes, I do also have Warframe open in the background. Let me just check. What is happening? What just happened? Okay, we're back on track. We're back on track. We're back on track. So, Lotus. But yeah. Some things about the Warframe timeline don't make sense. And it's was this a personal choice? Was it Ballas? Who knows? We don't know. She doesn't even know. I wish I knew. Will we ever get this answered? I hope so. Yeah, instead of finishing her final objective, after eliminating the Orkins, she refuses to kill her children. She hides the moon, home of the reservoir, in the Void. In addition, the Tenno are placed into the second dream to protect them. Key note here that I should add of, it seems that with new information, it seems that the power to do this, Lotus made a deal with Wally. Because if you go up to Lotus on the cliff after Lotus Eaters, it's oh, you know what it gave, but what did you offer in return? What did she offer Wally to do that? There's no way. But basically, yeah, this note down here is Albrecht goes to Duviri sometime, we don't know when? He goes to Duviri. We know he's there. Or he was there for a time. Then during the Old War, after the Warframes are created, because it's oh, we're waiting the chosen operator. So the operators were a thing back then. He goes back to 1999 and sets up the Kalimo sequence. We know he saw the Zeramin Parade. So he saw the Zeramin, be celebrated, be lost. So it's okay, well, makes sense, because Duviri is after all that. He knows that. Lloyd, oh, the Old War is still happening. Because that's one of the first things, Lloyd says when we wake him up is, oh, shouldn't it be, Tenno? Shouldn't it be fighting a war? So, the Old War is still happening. But it's not exactly clear. It's sometime during the Old War. But, obviously, we don't know how long the Old War lasted. We don't know. And we don't know how long, say, Lloyd was awake before putting himself in cryo sleep. Because, Lloyd could have gone back, weird. We don't know exactly, Albrecht goes back during the Old War. Because we know, in his lore entries, Albrecht's after his deal with the Man in the Wall, he will not take the Kuva anymore to prolong his life. I think I spelled prolong wrong. So, he will not prolong his life. He has the lifespan of presumably a normal human man now. Or Orkin man. Question mark. So sometime, he goes back to 1999. We'll check up on that later. But basically, after the war, without the rule of the Orkin, the different factions and syndicates grow. They become more widespread, while the Tenno are asleep. So, after the Old War for the faction, the Grineer gain power. They are led by the Twin Queen. They secured the cloning technologies, but the Orkin locked them, so their molds slowly degrade over time and with use. The Corpus gain power-up. They scavenge for Orcan tech and trade with Grenier. Parvos Granum is almost assassinated but is saved by his warframe Protea by hiding in a pocket of the void. The infested continue to spread throughout the outer regions of the system. Most planets are fine and can be contained. So at least a millennia passes. How much time? I'd love to know. DE loves to hint at this. They love to hint at this, but never give an exact answer. Because last TennoCon, they were like, oh man, like from the 1999 trailer to Liches, it's like, oh, centuries later, millennia later, question mark later. It's like, okay, I'm going to scream. Like, in my mind, it has to be at least a millennia. Like, 1,000 years just sounds good. Like, it sounds nice for all the changes to be made. But basically, a lot of time passes. How much? Good question. Yeah, this leads into this. So, after a long time, the Lotus awakens the player. So, we start the game. So, we have amnesia, and it is implied to be caused by our abrupt wake-up, because Lotus is trying to save us from Captain Vor, and from getting our frame taken over. So, the awakening is where the most Tenno are reawakened, mostly with memory loss. Like, it's... The Warframe timeline is weird, because it's like, there's so many Tenno, and so many operators, but at the same time, like, it's a multiplayer game. But it is also, you know, the story is solo. So how do you account for that in the story of like, well, you play with your friends, you play with other Tenno, but why is the weight of the world specifically hanging on your shoulders and your shoulders alone? Like, it's weird. But yeah, some woke up... I can't speak. Some Warframes woke up earlier, as evidenced by different stories and quests. So, like Gara and the people of Cetus. So, Gara woke up earlier. Some Warframes were just destroyed in the old war. It happens. So, introductory quests as well as side quests occur. Like, this is just where you get your classic, like, oh, you woke up. Here's all your world building, like Vor's Price. Here's what the Grenier are. Once awake, here's what the Infested are. You know, like, yeah, you get basically your background information of, like, world building. Like, some are important to the plot later, some are not. So, like, oh, Howl the Kubro, you get a dog. Really important for the lore, but, you know. Like, New Strange is still just weird. Oh, this is one of my favorite notes. Alan V and his fucking deal. He's an important member of the Corpus. Because, like, this is basically, I was looking through the old, like, events from, like, I didn't play Warframe back then, of, like, oh, this operation, where, like, this sort of context, like, is important. Alavi is still, like, it's how. He makes the Nuka prototype using Warframes. Later on, he messes around with the Infested. He creates the Mutalisk strain that can infect Corpus Proxy. He gets infected himself. The Tenno fix him. The Acolytes hunt him down. He survives. He is just a cockroach with the amount of dead he should be. I don't get how he's still alive. Like, just, that's all of the lore I got when scrolling through every single operation of just, hey, Alex should be dead right now. Oh, he survives. Oh, he's being hunted down by the Acolytes. Oh, he survives. It's like, how the fuck is Aled still alive? But basically, after that, it's like just these world building quests. So after that, we have the Heart of Deimos. So we're called the Deimos, where the heart is under threat. There we meet the rest of the Entradi family, who safeguard the heart, which holds open the wall of Lok, allowing the void into our realities. Also, this doesn't include, you know, the man in the wall fingers that we have. I don't. The Tenno saved the heart from destruction, and it's implied that Grandma was behind his peril to reunite the family. Also, we get a mech. But this is a note for clarity's sake, since I have seen people get confused. Mother, Illyria Gometru, is Albrecht's daughter. Father, Vilcor, is grandmother's son. Now, father married mother and joined the Entradi family. Grandmother is not Albrecht's mom. Grandmother is Albrecht's mother-in-law. Which I should add, that's a better way to explain it. Mother-in-law. That's a really great way to explain it. Like, she is not his mother. She is his mother-in-law. So then after Heart of Damus, we have Nata. So we continue to explore the origin system. We encountered an unknown drone. It's a sentient. Lotus just fully dips. Teshin takes over. We try to find information until Rigor excavates a tomb on Uranus, on Hao's tomb. And Lotus reappears, instructing the Tenno to stop him. We fail to stop Till, and he reawakens Hunhao. Yet Lotus was once his daughter, Nata, and how she betrayed her own kind to protect the Tenno. So here is where we meet Teshin for the first time, and I won't lie, when we first met Teshin, I had to be explained to who the fuck he was, because I wish there was some, like, early, like, introductory quest around here. Because it shouldn't just be assumed that, like, oh, you're gonna go play Conclave and learn who he is. No, no one fucking plays Conclave. Nobody plays Conclave. Like, I wish there was a little bit more of, like, an introductory quest that's like, oh, we help Teshin somehow and, like, we get to meet him. Just something so you don't get that experience of, like, you get to the Nata quest and it's like, who the fuck is this? Why do I care? Like, something other than that, when it's like, we trust this guy enough to guide us? Okay, what the fuck? Sort of thing. Because I had that experience of just, like, who the fuck is this? And it had to be explained to me, like, oh yeah, he's the guy who does Conclave. Yeah. Like, he comes out of nowhere. Like, no one plays Conclave. Like, you meet him at some point, but it's never said in canon when we meet him. It's weird, but after that, the second dream. Oh, the big quest that I cried at the first time I played. Hunhao enlists the help of the Tenno killer, the Stalker, to finally end the old. They plot to find the womb in the sky and destroy the heart of the Tenno. Alad V, the fucker, offers his help in tracking Hunhao. Lotus reveals the location of the reservoir to Hunhao in her operation. We chase the Stalker into the void and we find Lua, the moon that was hidden in the void by Lotus in an attempt to keep the secret of the Tenno. The reservoir opens and reveals the Operator. Our true form. We've been controlling our warframes this entire time. Gasp. The Operator carries themselves through their warframe. Back to their ship. They're stopped by the Stalker. We defeat him, and the Lotus puts us in the new somatic link in the Orbiter. So, important question. And so, Stalker, an antagonist to the Tenno, repeatedly tries to kill us due to needing vengeance. He's a low guardian who witnessed the slaughter of the Orkan, currently working with Hunhao. So, information from this quest that is important. The warframes are battle proxies for the Operator to command. Lotus has, or had, the power to hide the moon in the void. Details about some of our time aboard the Zeramin 10-0 we get, so we learn of Margulis and her work, the Tenno schools, Hick Zeneric, Jesus Christ. And then this is a whole lot of text to be like, hey, how the fuck did the Warframe remove the sword in their own shoulder when Stalker stabs us? So, like, the Operator destroys the sword and severs whatever connection to Hunhao's power the Stalker has. there's a lot of contention on who the fuck did this. One, it could be the operator. So the operator was able to control the legs of the warframe and have the warframe carry them while they used their own arm to blast sentience away in the quest. So the operator just did the same thing. They were being choked out, so they used their arms, so they locked their arms onto... So while Stalker is choking them out, they locked their arms onto him, and then they used their Warframe's arms. So they locked their own arms in place so they could use the Warframe's own. So it could be the Warframe. As we learn in the Sacrifice and other quests, Warframes were soldiers before the Tenno. Valis created them to fight, but they were uncontrollable and turned on the Orkan. This suggests an ability to wake up and help the operator. As we see in Jade's memories, if you go near Teshin after playing Jade Shadows, it's given even more evidence. So Jade puts her operator to sleep and fights willingly to keep them safe. Umbra is another example of this, but Umbra is a bit different, as he retained his memories and never had an operator. But like Jade is this like evidence for the for the Warframe having this will and this like drive and fight, but just with the Warframes, well, their will is suppressed by the operator. But for Jade's case, well, she put her operator to sleep. They were too distraught to crush Jade's will. So it's like all sorts of fuck them. But it could be the Lotus. Like as seen in the Era cinematic, Lotus seemingly has the ability to control the Tenno. So like she uses our ability to blast Era. It would not be a stretch to assume she can do the same with our Warframes, but at the same time, we see the back of the room. That door is closed currently. How the fuck? It could be. Like, I personally think the Warframe being the one makes the most sense. Like, the original Warframes were made from infested people, so they want to save us. Like, just, they have that original will to move the Warframe independently of the operator. In addition, for frames, so it's like, okay, that's fine and dandy for the original frames. The problem is, most of our Warframes we make in the Foundry. Those are replications of the original frame. So what's the deal then? So frames made in the Foundry, this could be the Helminth strain taking over to save the operator, mimicking the original frame's desires. So it's the Helminth strain being like, it's programmed into that Helminth strain of like, you protect the operator at all fucking costs. Otherwise, you are like, the frame and the operator are lost. Like, even though they're nothing more than husks, have the innate protocol to protect the operator even at the cost of the frame. Like, oh, say Mirage. Like, when Mirage died to the sentient, well, that was the operator choosing that. Man. Like, just heartbreaking. But, like, I think it being the Warframe is pretty sound. Of, like, yeah, I like this theory. Like, oh, there's a little bit of a gap with, oh, well, we make our frames in the Foundry. Well, that can be explained with the Helminth. The Helminth has a protocol, like, innate of just protect the operator no matter what. Like, you rebuild the Warframes to keep them safe. Oh, man. Then, the War Within. Like, big quest. We check out these Germans on Lure. We meet Teshin. We track down the Grenier Queens. We ignore Lotus telling us to, like, hey, maybe don't go in. But Teshin trapped us. Like, to let us there to trap us to become the Elder Queen's Yuvan. The Queens use the Kuva to control Teshin. As he is a Dax, he cannot disobey. He gives us to the Queens and they attempt to drill into our mind through the somatic link. The Elder Queen wishes to take over our minds till only she remains to transfer from her decaying Grenier body. We enter a dream sequence. Margulis suppressed many of the Tenno's memories to try and protect us from the Void. This in turn locked away our full power. Session guides us through our memories as we recover these abilities. And we regained our connection to the void. We can use our abilities without the warframe, and we are able to sever the connection of the queen. Even though the somatic link is fried, we are able to use transference to re-enter into our warframe aboard the Kuva fortress. We take control of the Kuva staff, give Teshin his freedom, and it is up to the player to decide what happens to the queen. Either killing her ourselves, like Teshin kills her, or she rots and dies anyway. We know she just dies. So we escape, so we return to the mountain from the dream sequence and meet with Teshin. I need another drink. Ooh. Thank God I got water before I started streaming. Okay, so at the end, we return, meet with Teshin. Gives us the choice of what to do with the Kuva staff and says whatever we choose to do will define us. Regardless of player choice, the man in the wall talks to the Tenno for the first time. Why is this song so loud? So, the man in the wall, or Wally, a mysterious eldritch void being, is unclear if they are a manifestation of the void or an entity that controls the void. We don't know his origins, his full abilities, or his intentions. I don't know. So, through Albrecht's own writings, we learn of his first encounter with the man in the wall on his first trip into the void. This encounter drives Albrecht mad, and he seeks to stop Wally and try to undo his mistakes. So, if Albrecht made the man in the wall through a mirror of himself when he first stepped into the void for the first time. So, Albrecht steps into the void, he sees himself in a mirror. It's Wally. So it's like, he creates, he gives this manifestation. Like, oh, we know of conceptual embodiment of that Wally is a creation of Albrecht's given form. So like, Wally was created. Albrecht was freaking out, trying to leave the void. So he was, oh my god, I gotta go back. Oh my god. So this could have set, like, in motion, like giving Wally, as a mirror of Albrecht, this primordial urge, that need for Wally to want and to leave the void and join our reality. And Trotty gave the void form and then inadvertently trapped him in the void. So that, like, I don't claim to know. I'm just spitballing, but yeah, oh man. There's a whole thing about there that I think I have later. At the Grineer Queens, Grineer they functionally worship. They are Orokin who survived the slaughter, and they've been using Kuva to transfer into Grineer body. And then up here, we'll get to this. As we learn through the Navis decorations, there are two types of Kuva: red Kuva, blue Kuva. Red is permanent, blue Kuva is just fun. Well, it's a limited time. Sort of just for Navris. And then I have this as, I think there is a little bit of a plot hole in the War Within. Little bit of a little plot hole. So, the Queen says in the quest, Mother takes your hand and says there's been an accident. But in the New War, we were in the classroom at the time of the jump. There was the accident. Like, the Queen could be lying to us, pulling on our ideas, our emotions of like the image we have in our mind of our mother to manipulate us. Or she was straight up lying and making it up. But she was also speaking the truth at times, because she says the biomes were sabotaged. Later on in Angels of Zeramin, Hombask admits that she did that. That happened. How would the Queen know that happened? He wasn't on board the ship. Why would they publicize that? Why would they bruh. But, like, on the other hand, I don't think they're gonna follow this storyline. I would love if they did, but they're not going to. But It could be after we leave, like, because you're not going to stay for however long in a barricaded classroom. You need food, you need supplies. Like, the queen says in that same quest, the children have all come together, and we know there's other classrooms. The children have all come together, so we leave our barricaded classroom. Like, we get the void powers, we kill the adults on board. So it could be after we leave the classroom, we head back to our dorm zone. We meet with our parents again, who are slowly being corrupted by the void, turning into void angels. And we are forced to kill them before they kill us. Do I think they'll do it? I hope so, but I think they sort of, tied a bow on everything with the new war of like, yeah, maybe we'll get more information about the Zerman. Like, we have to find out more about our deal. But I can see this in my mind of like, yeah, we leave the dorm zone, we head back of like, our parents are slow, like, yo, you're okay. Like, they're slowly being warped into void angels. And we have to kill them. So, after the war within, we have the Deadlock Protocol and Rising Tide. Deadlock Protocol can be done earlier. Deadlock Protocol is just weird. But basically, Corpus Granum comes back. Corpus Granum? Parvos Granum. That's his name. Corpus Granum. Like, we learn about him, he comes back, and then the Corpus are retrofitted. And then the Rising Tide, we get our Railjack. So, the important part about that is just, yeah, sentient anomalies are seen in Veil Proxima, so we're beginning down the road to the new war, so like the sentients are gathering their armada, and then also the last part of the relic of the ship is the reliquary drive, which turns out to be a giant finger when the Railjack powers on. If you have done the war within, Wally appears on top of the drive and taunts you briefly. We know it's him, it's Wally. Like, due to his taunts, it is believed that the finger belongs to Wally. Like, was the one severed by Albrecht and cloned to power the Orkan ship. It's weird. And then we have the Chains of Harrow, so we learn about Rel and his whole deal with the Man in the Wall. So, like, he was cast out, presumably for blinding Margulis. He was taken in by the Red Veil. Like, he was not able to enter cryosleep and instead sacrificed himself, binding his mind to his warframe. So, like, he asked the Red Veil to chain his warframe to, like, so he could enter an eternal mental battle against the Man in the Wall to keep him from leaving the void. Goddamn. And he did that for 1,000 years. Holy shit, kid. That's impressive. Like, he kept his, like, almost like a distraction. Like, you keep his door... I can explain this well. Like, Rel kept his little door to the void open to draw the Man in the Wall's attention to him to fight. But over time, Rel slowly went mad, slowly lost himself, and Palladino sends us to get a relic to collect the shattered pieces of Rel's mind that manifested as his emotions. So we return all those to Rel, and we end his suffering and we free Harrow from his chains and allow Rel to finally rest. Not before the Man in the Wall taunts us using Rel's voice, that's just Wally. So now, without Rel acting as our protector, his job is taken up by the Tenno that once rejected him. So now Wally starts to interact with reality and us again, and sometimes he scares the shit out of me in my orbiter. Of like, oh, that was a good mission, wow, really nice. Hey kiddo, holy shit, fuck. So now we have that. So after Chains of Harrow, we have the Apostasy Prologue. After building the personal quarters, we hear the final moments between Margulis and Ballas before she's executed. We enter the Lotus's residence, and Ballas appears before we can speak. Ballas apologizes, to which Lotus objects. Like, Ballas promises not to leave Margulis again, and takes control of the Lotus. Lotus removes her helmet and takes Ballas' hand before stepping through a portal, abandoning the operator it's unclear. Like, it does happen, but at the same time, like, we take our helmet, so it's not just a dream. But I don't know, like, it's not a dream, because the Lotus... I don't know, okay? There's a lot in this timeline that I just don't fucking know, and Like, since Lotus is a sentient, Ballas is able to manipulate and brainwash her again. It's unclear if Nata's choice to become the Lotus was her own choice, or... Who knows? Lotus gone, Order steps up to take up our mission, to take over for our mission. So then we have the sacrifice. So we receive visions of a warframe through her helmet, Umbra, being restrained and killed by Ballas. So we watch through these visions as Ballas turns a Dax into a warframe and then has him kill his own son. So Ballas does this because the Dax found out his plans to betray the Orokin to Hunhao. Through using transference, we help Umbra break the cycle of reliving his memories. During the quest, we find a Vitruvian, Ballas's personal recording device or diary. There he describes the details of how the warframes were created to Hunhao. So this explains how Hunhao knew of the reservoir. Like, oh, I give you the coordinates to this place. With Umbra, we stab Ballas, and after being questioned, Nata appears in her sentient form. She takes Ballas away to Mother, Pragasa. Following this quest, Wally will appear and question us about what we are feeling. When we respond that we killed Isa, he responds, good, before vanishing. So, this is the first instance of Wally trying to wear us down mentally. Could be part of a long game to take over our minds so he can be free in our reality. Time will tell! And then from this quest, we learn about dualism and the Vain Faith. Both were belief systems of the Orokin before eternalism and stuff. We don't know much about them. The theme of dualism is prevalent throughout the Warframe story, which if you asked me like 5 years ago about dualism, I'd have a lot more answers. But the problem is I didn't write them down. Because I remember it was like 2018, 2019, playing through the quest. I was like, oh my god, there is a lot of dualism. It's here, here, here. I don't remember it now. It's been 5 fucking years. And I didn't write it down. Fuck. But yeah, the Operator, the Drifter, Operator in the Warframe, Lotus and Nata, Our Reality and the Void. From this quest as well, the Warframe storyline, I noticed, follows the seasonal cycle. So, spring, summer, fall, winter. Like, I have a whole document that I wrote out a year before the new war came out. A year. And then when they released the trailer for the new war of like, we are seasons, I fucking screamed because I called it. Yeah, summer is themes of war, but can also be exploring. So the old war, new war, war within. Fall is themes of decay. Fall of the Orokin. Lotus becoming Nata. Winter is themes of rest, calm before the storm, but also can be preparing. So we see in the sacrifice the tree on Lua is destroyed. Spring is themes of preparation and creation and learning. The Tenno are created, Tenno exit cryosleep. Chimera prologue and preparing for the new war. Erod says, my father was a farmer. Obviously, I think this only goes up to the, like, I haven't really looked into, like, oh yeah, what is Angels of Zariman and Veilbreaker? And do Viri fit in this? Because that's a lot. I think for Warframe, like, generally speaking, like, for my theory for the timeline is the seasonal cycle stops after the new war. Like, that's just, I don't have enough information about that. Like, I can try, but it doesn't feel the same. Like, it feels like after Ballas died and New War's wrapped up, like, well, we're done. So, after that, we get the prelude to war, so all of these prologues and cinematics. So, Ballas isn't dead. He's a half-sentient amalgam. He gives us the paracesis. It's honestly so unclear how honest Ballas is being in the Chimera prologue. Like, perhaps him nearly dying made him discard his primary goal of getting Margulis back through Nata. Is he actually trying to help us, or he's just setting the dominoes up? And as we learn in the new war, he's just setting the fucking dominoes up. The Era cinematic starts with a flashback to the old war. Era infiltrates and claims that Nata has been brainwashed. Which, he's not wrong. Like, unless, like, he didn't tell anyone his plan. Era seems to die by her hand. It cuts to the present. Board Pregasa. So the return of the Sentients, Ballas is on a leash. So they call the Sentients home to amass their army. We never really get an explanation why he survived. Like, maybe Ballas inserted the memory, or he was just rebuilt later. It's never explained how the fuck Era lived. And then the Maker, so Nata and Era arguing over their conflicting accounts. Oh, Nata's memory still messed up from the Orkan. Then after this, Nata's just thrown into the center of the ship to power it? We don't know. After this, Era lets go of the leash and Bella stands tall. When, how, why Era and Bella started working together? Who fucking knows? Like, they're working to manipulate Nata Lotus into doing what they want. And after, we have Jovian Concord, Scarlet Spear, and Orphex Venom. So, just these quests and operation and events that happened. Like, Alan made a deal with Sentients, so he's giving them data on how we fight. Ropalolis, Nata speaks of her history with the Sentients, and she seems to confirm that she was brainwashed and is forced to turn against them. Or was forced, not is. Scarlet Spear. So the Sentient fleet has started invading Earth, so we have to fend off Sentient Murex ships in orbit, as well as Chondrix dropships on the ground. So this is like the first sort of full offensive attack. And Orphex Venom, after their defeat in Scarlet Spear, they regroup and destroy the Orphex sentient units. The Chondrix are able to destroy our warframes this time. So we use our mechs, and we once again push them back. And when Nata is sending out the fleet of Chondrix, she seems to spell out, I am dying. And now we're to the new war. We're almost done, I promise. Let me get a little more water. Let me get a tiny bit more water. Goddamn. A lot of talking for this. A lot of talking. So, we see the beginning of the war and the sentient invasion through the eyes of a Grineer and a Corpus. So, Call and Viso. Era captures Call, and Viso watches as Ella betrays the Sentients. The Sentients? No. He betrays the Corpus. I don't know why I wrote Sentients there. It's supposed to be he betrays the Corpus of like, stand down. I brokered peace with them. He betrays the origin system. Viso sacrificed himself to take out the Murex. We don't, like, if Alad is on that ship, he's dead. But who knows? I mean, like, we haven't seen Alad since. Maybe he's dead? Maybe. I hope so. But after a brief intro aboard our raildeck, we play as Teshin on Pregasa. He fights to turn off the defenses to let us on board. He takes defenses, but he's captured and veiled. We show up and fail to save Teshin, and he is killed. Era and Ballas are working together. Ballas steals Lotus's power/control over Pregasa through a kiss? Not really explained. And he opens Void Portal. We try to save Lotus from being pulled in. Ballas cuts off for him. Lotus is sent through the portal. Ballas takes our distraction as an opportunity to stab us through the chest with paracesis and send us into the portal as well. So, no idea why we can't just use our Necromechs aboard Pregasa. Would have literally needed 2 lines from Teshin about this. Like, I rewrote the new war, it was 2 lines of dialogue of the Sentients have adapted from their last raid, or they have fine-tuned their Orphex units from the last time you fought them, and now both your mech and frame are useless until those fields go down. Done. Explained. Done. Where does the portal go? it goes to Deviri. So we learn that the portal Ballas opens goes to Deviri. Still unclear how the fuck he can do this. Then, oh wow, the operator goes here. I wonder. We'll get to this. Oh, we'll get to this after Drifter, so just for clarity. So the state of the origin system with no Tenno, even though it's just us that gets sent through the portal. Like, maybe... I don't... Like, maybe... because we fail at stopping Ballas, he's able to, like, close the wall. No, because the heart's... Because the heart was safeguarded to keep that open. I hate this. With no Tenno to stop them, Ballas and Era take over the origins. By using the Veils, they found a faction of brainwashed units called Narmer. Veils are Kuva-powered brainwashing mask devices. They take your memories and twist them into a version that aligns you to Ballas' side. Fortuna has been taken over, except for some of Voxelites who are resisting. Yeah. Venus begins to defrost. Cetus, everyone got fucked and veiled. Deimos, the Entrati made the decision to hide and lay low on Deimos until the war is over to protect the heart. So now, the Drifter enters the story. Our new playable character is the mysterious Drifter. Brief intro to the Veils and an Archon. The Drifter has our Orbiter, now stationed on Earth in a cave. They are looking for a way to heal the now Eidolon Lotus who is sitting decaying on our ship. Drifter heads to Fortuna, gets in contact with Little Doc. We get a Corpus ship, and then we put on the Drifter to not get caught, puts on a Veil. The Veil tries to gaslight the Drifter as the Lotus, its Ballas, speaks a twisted version of history to control the Tenno. This doesn't work, as the Veil is targeting our Operator, but the Drifter does not have these memories. So it is the right body, wrong mind. Once they acquire Corpus ship, the Drifter sets out for Uranus. So, after playing Deviri, we learn that this is how the Drifter is repaying their debt to the Operator for helping them. Still not explained how, they found Lotus in Deviri and helped her and, did all this. And the Drifter knows they will get void powers eventually, or got used to using the Warframe's powers in Deviri. It's unclear. Ortis asks, oh, use your Tenno powers. And they're like, oh, I don't have those yet. Like, the fuck do you mean yet? But basically, important note, we'll go here for a bit. So the Operator got thrown into the portal. So these events take place during the Orcan Empire's Golden Age, but I don't want spaghetti where these lines have to extend all the way back to here. I would cry. Ballas has trapped the Operator in our own history, removing us from the timeline and getting us stuck in a loop. Ain't that sound familiar? But I will say, for the Drifter, because we're about to get into that, let's go back. So the Drifter was stuck in the loop. So, the Deviri paradox. The Drifter is stuck in time loop day after day after day. A mysterious portal opens and Lotus's hand flies out. We play the Drifter as they meet with the wizard Teshin. It's Teshin. The Drifter has received aid from beyond their void-made prison, Teshin teaches them about the ways of the Tenno and the Warframes that were sent as help. The Drifter collects pieces of a toy figurine while navigating through different moods of Thrax. With each piece gained, the Drifter gains a memory, presumably from Thrax himself. Teshin is killed, the Drifter is fueled with rage, a real emotion for the first time in a long time. They possess an Oreworm and raid the throne room. They learn that they were the one that created Deviri based on a storybook as a manifestation of their trauma on the Zerman. The Drifter takes control of Deviri, allowing the world to reset and resurrecting Wizard Teshin. He's okay. They give back the throne to Dominus Thrax and set themselves free, and they seek to repay the Tenno. So, we learn that Thrax may have been a Tenno from the Zerman who was stranded just like the Drifter before leaving and taking control of Deviri. So, Wizard Teshin, he was thought to have been killed by Era, but it's revealed that after being pulled into the portal, Teshin survived. So he's mentor to the Drifter and tells him about his version of the Zerman and the Tenno, and then he's killed and resurrected. But then, they're back. But continuing with the Operator. So our first flashback, Our operator is aboard the Zeraman 10-0. We're learning about eternalism. After taking a quick quiz, the Zeraman's void jump occurs, trying to jump from Saturn to the outer terminus to Tau. As we learned later, it was supposed to be several smaller jumps, but due to Orkin's hubris, they thought it could be done in one. Surprise, surprise, this goes horribly wrong! So after the failed jump, our operator and the other children have barricaded the classroom and are hiding inside from the adults who have gone crazy from void exposure. We comfort our classmates, and afterwards we encounter a mirror of ourselves tapping on the wall. It's Wally, and we offer our light. Like specifically like, oh, did you lose your light? Here, you can have mine. And it's like, thanks, kiddo. I think I will. We'll come back to the deal. But the Drifter enters the story. No, wait, I already read this. The Great Hunhao. So the Drifter makes their way towards Hunhao's tomb. We encounter the Stalker, discuss with him how we can bring the Lotus back. Like they both wanted to be free and form an alliance. Hunhao tells the Drifter what they know about the Archons. Warframes twisted together with sentience. Drifter needs the Archon shards to restore Lotus, but Hunhao warns that she might not be the same as she is restored. We are given a Nadaruk, and the Drifter leaves. Once again, unclear how the Drifter knows about Hunhao in the first place. Shrug, I guess. And that goes back here. Yes. So we defeat the first Archon. We return to the Orbiter, give Lotus the Archon shard. After she absorbs it, she lashes out, demanding more. During the mission, Hunhao tries to persuade Era, but he refuses, remaining steadfast to his loyalty to Valis and the empire they built. And we get this flashback. Then, after the second Archon is defeated, Lotus absorbs it, she regains the strength to get up, but she's confused and enraged and attacks the Drifter. Chokes them out. And we get the deal. As you can see, there's a lot up there for theory. Man. The man in the wall offers the operator that they can save everyone. But we have to want it. The operator considers, well, technically both operator and Drifter, you know. But operator. Yeah, they hear the adults tearing at the door and they take Wally's hand. Next is a scene that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Unclear if the sequence is a metaphor or reality. So different versions of the operator die until all that remains is the Drifter and operator shaking hands. So here's our operator return. But this scene is unclear as stated. Like, as I said, like the collapsing of timeline theory, like this results like the Man in the Wall literally collapsing the timelines to create this nexus point where only the operator and Drifter remain. The two choices of the deal. It could just be a cool representation of how we got our void powers. But then I added all of this later. So, reading the files on Albrecht's computer right behind Lloyd, the ballast file reads that the operator needed a paradoxical intervention from an outside force because ballast trapped them in a history loop to remove us from the timeline. This could mean that the handshake is the Drifter breaking our operator free from that loop. The versions of the operator we see dying could be the previous loops that they went through, dying in some way again and again and again, getting reset and reset until being freed. So at that point, Drifter is using the handshake with Wally as the point to literally grab the operator out of there, because we don't see the Drifter dying over and over and over and over again in their time loop, only the operator. So this is the point of the Drifter is grabbing the operator like you grab a kitten by their scruff and pulling them out of the time loop and back to our timeline. So like this is happening while the Lotus chokes the Drifter out, so like it may not have been a conscious choice, but rather a desperate one. I think in my head it's like the Drifter, while being choked out, of like, I'm not dying here. This ain't my timeline, it's yours. Sort of thing. So together, the Operator and Drifter fix the timeline. The Drifter gains their void powers, but they are soon switched out. So the Operator, the true person of the timeline, comes back. So in essence, it is a, you freed me from my loop, that the Drifter is saying, I will free you from yours. And the Nexus point where the Operator and Drifter diverged, so that after the Nexus point where their timelines split, was the only place that this interaction could occur where the Drifter could just make that contact with the Operator to pull them out. All this came from a single note on Albert's computer. Is it correct? I don't know. We'll see. But basically, the Operator returns. So after the Lotus nearly kills the Drifter and Ortis sacrifice themselves to try and protect them, they gain their void powers, fight back, an explosion occurs, and the Operator is back in place of the Drifter. Operator is shocked to see the Lotus alive. Lotus stops her rage and states that she doesn't know what she is, but she knows what she has to do. All cryptically. Like, she takes off to hunt down Ballast. The Drifter just sort of disappears for a bit. Disappears. And at this point, you will see all of this text. So this is my rewrite for the new war that I've talked about. I think the highlights are still, if you go to my videos on my channel, you'll see where that I go into like full depth, like I'm writing it. And I go into full depth for like, yeah, I don't like how Era's character like turns so suddenly against Ballast. So I rewrote, added a whole extra fight scene. So yeah, we get a scene of Ballast fuming about the Archon's death, and he pulls back the final Archon so they don't get killed. Ballast sends Era to track down Lotus and the Drifter. The Drifter gets the second Archon shard. They return to their camp, but who else but Era is standing outside. They track the Lotus down to bring her back. They fight in the clearing. Era knocks the Nadarook into the water, so Drifter retreats into the Orbiter, wielding the Soraka. Era stalks into the Orbiter, and they continue to fight until they reach the transference room. During the fight, the Archon shard is knocked near Lotus, and she absorbs its power. He leaves the cradle, and the Drifter and Era stop fighting to watch. Era questions her, but she only focuses when he mentions the Tenno. She uses her Eidolon powers to leave the Orbiter, with the two just standing there. We're gonna have to fix up that hole. Era cannot return empty-handed, so he attacks the Drifter while they are still stunned. He attempts to grab them, but Ortis throws himself in the way and gets crushed in the process. Era deflects the Drifter's shots and grabs them by the throat, lifting them off the ground. Just like Lotus did, but different. After the screen fades to white, we cut back to Zerman where the Operator makes the deal with Wally. After the Operator shakes hand and Wally does his thing with the timeline, we cut back to the Drifter. Era's standing back from the Drifter looking on in horror. The Drifter's hands are glowing with void energy, and they start to fight once more. With the power of the void, it's an easy fight, and the Drifter corners Era into submission. Instead of killing Era, the Drifter allows him to live, letting him crawl back to his Golden Lord. The Drifter picks up the pieces of Ortis. They start shimmering with the timeline effect, so the Drifter sits down in the transference chair. They say a few words before a flash occurs, and the Operator is now sitting in the chair. They ask about what has happened, before it cuts to black. So just a little bit of setting up Era a bit, and then also, like, these events needed to happen. Oh my god. Oh my god. Which, I will say, for this moment, I made a tweet about this last night. So I rewrote the new war January 18th, roughly, 2023. Whispers in the Walls, for context, came out December 13th, 2023. 11 months later. So, why am I bringing this up? So while rereading this document, the New War rewrite, last night, what the Drifter says before they go back to wherever they fuck off back to for a tiny bit of time, I wrote that the Drifter says, let me find it, because I wanted to have it, no, let me just go to fucking, let me read it out. There's an easier way to get to my profile, and I'm not using it. Yeah, Drifter. Besides, yeah, Era leads, and the Drifter starts picking up pieces of Ordis. Drifter. Besides, I have someone important to meet, and I can't afford to be late. A full 11 months. 11 months before Whispers in the Walls came out. Before that, 11 months before, it's like, oh, Whispers in the Wall. Well, we got back to 1999 too late. I wrote that. The Drifter says, I have someone important to meet and I can't afford to be late. I don't know how the fuck I called that, but alright. But, okay. Let's get back. We get the table for two. We'll get back to this. Right? Next scene after and start of Act 4. Is this correct? Yes. Okay, so this read first. So, after the operator returns, we cut to Ballas's throne room as Era limps in. Era briefs Ballas that the light they are looking for is Lotus. Ballas says it is a success, but still a failure. He muses aloud that if he turned Era into an Archon, perhaps he would be more useful to him. Era stands there in horror, finally realizing his father was right. From here, the scene plays out as normal as Ballas instructs Era to gather the sentient fleet, as Natal will come to them. He will make her kill her. Wait. He will make her kill her so-called children. I need to put her so-called children for him. I need quotations there. Otherwise it doesn't make sense. A table for two. The operator heads to the Zerman 10-0, which has reappeared in the system after a quick scene with Era and Ballas. They make their way through and meet up with the Drifter in their dormer zone. So, they explain the whole eternalism thing. We learn Drifter's motivation, so like they helped us because we helped them. We close the paradoxical loop of, well, the Drifter helps us because we help them. Well, we help the Drifter because they help us. So, Ordis is fine. We have all their warframes. So, we don't know where the Lotus is. We choose, well, the player chooses if you want to finish as the operator or Drifter. Which, I think I have a note about this part of like, oh yeah, Ordis is fine. They have all their warframes back. Is there context for this? Yeah, so this is rewrite. Chasing the Lotus, so I just call them the player or the 10-0. Yeah, regardless of Drifter or Operator, from here on out, because I don't want to do 10-0/Drifter, just they are the 10-0. So they get prepared aboard the Orbiter, they learn that she's hijacking the Murex on top of Cetus, so we rescue Ostron. We fight our way up the Unum, which I also called in 2019. Like, bruh. Like, so we fight our way through, like, she will defeat Ballas herself. We ignore her. She regains control of the fleet. So, the Lotus reveals Pragas's true purpose was to consume the sun. So Ballas wants to go to Tau. So, we get knocked out of the Murex. Cephalon Sai scoops us up. We approach Pragasa as it's eating the sun, so we have to guide the railjack to get close. On the ship, Era appears, having switched sides quite suddenly. That's the reason for my rewrite. I hate that it's just, oh, I fucked up. Oh yeah, I'm good now. Yeah, so he leads us through the ship so we can defeat Ballas. So the Unum, it's on Cetus, worshipped by the Quills and Ostron. He can talk and stop time. And then when playing as a Drifter, like, oh, should have stayed in Duviri. So Duviri happens prior for them. A bit more water. We're nearly done. We are nearly done, and then I'm going to head off because I need food. So, I did a little bit more rewriting, but like hopefully with my rewrite, Era's turn to good makes a little bit more sense. Like it's set up better of like we get a little more scenes where like Era realizes, yeah, he fucked up. Yeah, he fucked up. His father was right. But this part is I wanted to rewrite Era's death to give it a little more like narrative foreshadowing. And just, I don't like Rock's fall, he's dead. I don't like it at all. So aboard Pregasa, Era leads us to the Archons. The sun's power is tearing the ship open. The necromech starts failing due to the intensity of the sun. We move ahead of Era. A sun blast comes between the two of them, sending the mech forward and Era back. Due to the strain of the sun and this explosion, the mech deteriorates, sending the Tenno out. Since they are close to the Archon, Deacons rush in. Because, you know, if you have this super important asset that you want to protect, you want, you know, maybe to set up several lines of defense. So you have your your Deacons around your Archon. So the ceiling between the Tenno and Era is crumbling, on the precipice of failing or falling. Era shouts at the Tenno that the Archon is just ahead and to leave him behind. Yeah, so the Deacons climb over Era, pinning him to the ground as he struggles. Shouts at us, go ahead, leave him behind. One or two of the Deacons turns to attack the Tenno, but Era sees this and he turns his weapon towards the ceiling and fires. The ceiling crumbles and the path between them is blocked. That feels a lot more like it's narratively compelling and there's a lot more agency of like, yeah, that's a deliberate choice by Era. Like, oh, just wall crush Era. And with the right setup, it can be inferred by having Ballas talk about, oh, maybe I'll turn you into an Archon if you keep failing. The Deacons take this suggestion. They see, yeah, Era failed again. He became a traitor. They take him and turn him into Pazul, following Ballas's suggestion. So you get that nice narrative setup, and it's lean. Oh, let's go. We are here. Okay, we're nearly done. I need to get food. So the final showdown. Lotus arrives to take Ballas, and the Tenno show up as well to help. Instead, Ballas takes the Archon shard and absorbs its power, using it to take control of the Lotus. We help as much as we can to weaken the hold that Ballas has. We destroy the Narmer lenses, where Ballas makes a final stand. Excuse me. He takes the parastasis and stabs the Lotus with it. The Tenno grabs the Narmer veil, presumably one from the dead Deacons that are just scattered around, and slaps it on his face. So the veil gaslights Ballas, giving the Lotus the opportunity to trick him into a kiss so she can reclaim her essence and power. Ballas drops dead, rip bozo, as the Lotus is given a new form of a radiance, Radiant Lotus. Ballas dies. Lotus uses her new power to close the void portal that Ballas had opened to try to jump to Tau. Before she's able to, the man in the wall comes careening out of the portal as a literal man in the wall. Don't know why. Like, yeah, Rel, like, oh, he described him as a man in the wall. Don't know why, you know, Rel would lie. Like, yeah, that is a man in the wall. Yeah, Wally taunts us laughing while the giant wall man speaks the void tongue. Lotus is able to close the portal, but appears Wally affects her in some way, and she collapses shortly after. There's nothing down here. Ballas reveals that he let the Lotus have us, but she chose to love us instead of him. Like, she was being controlled, manipulated by Ballas during the Apostasy prologue. And then, the new war is over. We carry the Lotus back to her chamber. We have a discussion on what happened and what happens next. Lotus claims that she saw nothing at the end. Narmer has been shattered, but Ballas is now a martyr. The player gets to choose how Lotus will represent herself, seeing as she is no longer one. So whether she is Lotus, Margulis, Mata, it's purely a name choice. The cosmetics you can change. And it's unclear if Lotus is lying about Wally. Like, before it's like, oh yeah, maybe she is lying. But more evidence is coming out with Lotus Eaters of like, yeah, she's lying. Because before, I was on the train of, no, like, as stated by Cephalon Sai, to the Cephalons, the void is just an absence. They literally see nothing. Like, if this logic applies to the sentience, then, like, she was telling the truth. But as we see with Lotus Eaters, it seems like she made a deal. Like, she knows of Wally. Like, oh, it's taking my pain. Like, oh, you know what it gave, but what did you give? Almost speaking like, yeah, she also gave up something. Or the ability to fucking close and open void portals. Goddamn. And then we have after the new war. So we'll start with Veilbreaker. But this is just a side quest. Not much happens. Call is freed. He's not dead. So they're saving people from his brothers from Narmer's influence. Sets up a base on Earth. And we learn about Pazul, who was created from Era. So the Ram Archon took over his body. And he threatens the system with more Archons that we have to kill. So then, let's do Angels of Zerman. So the Zerman reappears as the origin system. Like, this occurs during the New War. Like, DE themselves said that this happens during the New War. That the Zerman comes back. So a strange song is being sent out across the system from the derelict ship. We are introduced to the Holdfast, who are reconstructions by the Void of the original Zerman crew who are slowly dying. We stop the Void Flood and cascades aboard the ship. We turn our attention to the Reliquary Drive and have to stop Kira, or if you were involved in the Zerman ARG, Zari, another Holdfast who had succumbed to the song and became a Void Angel from attacking. They appear to finally disappear as Kira dies. Though it is revealed that Holdfast did not die completely. Instead of drawing their energy from the Reliquary Drive, they're now drawing energy from us. And as we spend more and more time with them, they begin to heal and become more stable. So, important information learned from the Holdfast and the ARG. So, all of the Holdfast are dead. They are void manifestations, which makes the creature that you see in Void Flood, Hitter Girl, is a void manifestation from a void manifestation. Drug. Just, yeah. Resurrected through conceptual embodiment. Honbask sabotages the biomes, as I said earlier. Yeah, the Zerman was beginning to rebel against the Orkan to not go to Tau because they saw it as a death trap. Kira contacted the Tenno asking for help to recover logs from the Zerman before she was corrupted. These logs detail her death as told by her husband and the conditions on the ship after the failed jump. These are on YouTube as well. So I wish these were in game because I know the perfect place that they could put them, but alas. So Yanto was the one who pushed for the void jump to be a single leap. She says they could make it if given a second chance. And the Zerman is holding the void open where it is sitting. It is acting as a literal plug of like, welp. And then I put Jade's shadows here because it felt right to put it before Whispers of the Walls. So Stalker was a low guardian during the fall of the Orkan, but he was saved by a warframe named Jade. After New War, Stalker's been caring for Jade. Well, he's been caring for Jade for a long time, but she has fallen critically ill. He attempts to gather and administer bioplasma, which fails. So Hunhao tells him to ask the Tenno for help, which he does reluctantly. So Stalker gathers Cortichrome to heal her. Ortis marks this whole situation as odd because a warframe's power should be near infinite, but something is draining hers. So during all this, a Corpus Captain is alerted, and Stalker is trapped. So after giving Jade the Cortichrome, it is revealed that Jade is pregnant. She's been pouring all of her energy into the child. Jade passes during childbirth, and Stalker takes their child, protecting it from Captain Zito's forces. Zito stands down upon hearing the child's cries, and the Stalker leaves. Stalker takes the child to Lua and gives them their name, Sirius or Orion. Before becoming Warframe, Stalker was Soren and was engaged to Jade, even though it was forbidden by the Orkan. After they were discovered, they were both turned into Warframes, including the fucking child. So, Jade was the Orkan's executioner. She is where we get the Jade light that they use to execute people. The Orkan taunted Jade, saying if she remained still long enough, she may feel her child's heartbeat once. So, she took their words and spent the next millennia pouring her energy into her child. So, I like it. In my mind, Jade's Shadows is a main story quest. Like, no matter if he's like, yeah, it's a side quest, which I think it is categorized as a main story quest. Like, for me, it wraps up Hun Hao's character and Stalker's. Like, Hun Hao ends his inbox saying, "I remain the great and terrible Hun." Like, it wraps up his character. Like, yeah, we're not at odds. Like, Hun Hao's more of an ally now. Stalker, like it also wraps up him. It also sets up Stalker for if 1999 does any timeline shenanigans and oh, Drifter returns and there's a time skip afterwards. Well, who's gonna protect the origin system because they have someone to lose? Maybe their son, but Stalker. Like it's cool. I like it as a main story quest. Then we have Whispers in the Walls. God damn it, Albrecht. So due to the Ballas's void portal, the indifference begins growing increasingly restless. Lloyd starts the Kalimo sequence and goes, or the Kalimo sequence is just started. Like the conditions for it to start are met. Goes behind the Andrade family's back to guide us to Albrecht's laboratories, and we wake the sleeper. We encounter Wally posing as our operator, staring at a wall surrounded by Rec Room soldiers on the floor, like a little rat in a trap. The wall he is looking at tears open suddenly to an expansive void space, and we encounter the Murmur. We awaken the sleeper, who is revealed to be the original Lloyd. So, Lloyd, the Cephalon, I call Necroloid now, and then Lloyd. So, we go to the Sanctum Anatomica, we meet the Kavia, incomplete animal experience that speak in the Void tongue, which I wish there was a translation for, but we may never get a full translation for. Lloyd tells us we need to do transference into the vessel, but he says something is wrong, and we jump back to 1999. It just... In 1999, just all the way back to the beginning of the timeline, a human named Arthur is fighting off infested in a subway. We hear another person, Owie, instructing Arthur to link up to a terminal to find Dr. Andrade. Owie comes under attack, and Arthur is also attacked after finding a terminal. After holding off the infested creatures, Arthur passes out. When he wakes up, he is greeted by a man in the familiar cravat. It's Albrecht and Kalimos. Albrecht says, "You are late," or gritting ominously as the man on the wall's void tongue can be heard, and we cut back to our time. Yeah, this is the part of the timeline that I hate. Because it's just, God damn it, Albrecht. So back in the present, after 1999, Lloyd reveals that he traveled back to escape the man in the wall, but he was still able to follow him. The Murmur attack the lab, and we fend them off. Lloyd discovers a transmission that Albrecht sent forward, but it requires a Palm 2 board. Once the board is retrieved, the message plays. Excuse me. He left to draw the Wally away from Lloyd and urges us to finish the Kalimo sequence. After the Palm 2 board. I hate. Yeah, Palm 2, we watch a series of recordings that 1999 Albrecht made and attached to our transference stream to send forward in time to us. For this mission, we end up being too late. Oh my god, there's so much back and forth! So, once the board is retrieved, the message plays and Albrecht says he left the... Yeah, he urges us to finish the Kalimo sequence. We build the gargoyle, find the missing page of the grimoire that Lloyd tore out. The gargoyle gives the Kavia the ability to communicate with us, and as we fight off the Murmur, we hear Albrecht's praise for Lloyd as his right-hand man and boyfriend. Because these bitches gay, hell yeah. The Tenno fights and defeats the Fragmented One before we're forced out of our warframe and attacked by a void-controlled vessel. The Tenno seemingly crushed, but they transfer us to the sitting vessel and pacify the enemy. The Murmur is forced back, and Lloyd is now determined to see this through to the end, telling us Albrecht's final words to him before he left, and next time, we won't be late. At the end, a cutscene plays with Operator Wally, monologuing about the deal with the Tenno. They are joined by Albrecht Wally, who states we end as we began. Now, you may not know this, there is also a third version of Wally in Duviri. So, during the anger spiral, if you climb the tower that basically like above extraction for Duviri, that's Wally up there. Like, I think people have been calling him, oh my god, what is his name? It's Wally. Oh my god. Walter. Yeah, the Duviri Wally is Walter. Just, okay. But now that Whispers in the Wall is all talked about, I could talk about some of my favorite notes, because going back and forth, wow, that's a lot. Albrecht. Because I had to have these here. I had to have these, otherwise it did not, like, just to get these green lines away. Yeah, Albrecht? What the fuck? But I needed those, because otherwise these lines would have just cut through behind all of this text. So those are there for a purpose. But there are some questions that have been raised. As I said, you read Lloyd's computer. His computer's weird. Who the fuck is writing those notes? I can't tell you. Because, like, there are files written on the computer next to Lloyd. They document and monitor the origin system and await for the chosen operator to activate the Kalimo sequence. So, like, I can speak English. The notes speak about what has happened, and they get updated as the operator makes their way through the main questline and through the new war. Who the fuck wrote them? Like, the Lotus file says that at the time of writing, she had not yet revealed her sentient nature to the Tenno. So this entry was written before the Nata quest. Other notes make mention on narrowing down who the chosen operator is, eventually setting on our operator through the various quests, relearning our void abilities like the War Within, and our encounters with Wally, specifically after Chains of Harrow and the Sacrifice. The person writing could not be Albrecht. He fucking left. He could be sending these notes from 1999, but how the fuck would he know? He left during the old war and went back to the past. How would he know what was happening in the future? Like, it cannot be Lloyd. He was in cryostasis, asleep, waiting for the Kalimo sequence to begin. He didn't even know the old war had ended. Like, it might be Necroloid, so Cephalon Lloyd did it, but the entries state that Necroloid's memories were suppressed until the sequence was to begin. He had no idea, unless he was taking notes without realizing. So Necroloid was writing these notes, but then immediately, because of the program, being forced to forget that he was writing them and what they were for. Could be, maybe, this one sort of makes sense to me. Maybe it could be the Kavia, but they speak exclusively in Void Tongue when we meet them. And Fibonacci is a fucking fish. No matter how smart Fibonacci may be, he is a fish. He can't type on a keyboard. Yeah, my best guess is Albrecht made a program we learn through the quest of the labs, what we defend in mirror defense, that's the lab's eyes and ears. So maybe he set up a program through his laboratory to mark this? I don't know. I don't fucking know. They introduced Lloyd's, for Albert's computer to be like, oh yeah, it's a little like recap of lore for like Tenno of like, oh yeah, this is what happens before, like just summarizing. Oh yeah, it's such a nice tool for new players for the lore. Why did they write some of it in present tense? Why did they? Why? Like they wrote some of it like, oh, Lotus hasn't like revealed her sentient nature yet. If it was all past tense, it would have been fine. Of, oh yeah, we just sat down with Lloyd and told him how it happened. Or it was Necroloid after the Kalebo sequence and we got access to the computer. I don't fucking know who wrote those notes. I think it might be Necroloid, or it may be literally the lab itself wrote those notes. I don't know. So, after all of that, we have the Lotus Eaters, our last quest before 1999. So the Tenno enters the Sanctum Anatomica and goes behind Wally's defeated vessel to find the Lotus standing at the edge, singing while holding a ringing pager, or kind page. The Operator and Drifter both appear and have a few words, which, by the way, I wish this quest was replayable. Goddamn. They have a few words before the Lotus turns. She addresses that the man in the wall wants the Operator and she's being influenced by him. She turns to the Drifter stating that she must, or, well, they must be the one to answer the call. The Drifter is taken to the abandoned mall in 1999 and has to follow Kalimos to another ringing pager, and they take it. Once that is done, they are brought back and the link to the past has been established. After the quest, Lloyd sends an inbox message saying that he is almost finished with the preparations to finish the Kalimo sequence and send the Drifter back to 1999. He also gives us Albert's pager, which reads no new messages for now. I should update this because we have gotten pages where it's just Arthur going, where the fuck? Who took my pager? What the fuck? So Lotus stays at the edge of the sanctum, still to this day, and keeps her vigil, monologuing to herself in the Tenno when we approach. So, few more notes. I think we'll end on this one. So, Lotus calling the Drifter her champion during the quest is just interesting. Like, it implies more to their relationship than what was shown during the New War. Like, it's implied, like, you could put pieces together, but it's never stated that more happened. Like, for sake of narrative clarity and cohesion, I have an idea of when the Drifter leaves Duviri, they still have the Lotus's hand. Like, her body flew into Duviri, or maybe a different pocket of the void. So, but basically, Drifter has Lotus's hand. But during the New War, they gave it back after mysteriously rescuing her. Like, it could be that before the Drifter leaves Duviri, or after they leave Duviri and they go to a different pocket, Lotus's hand acts as a beacon, and they come across the now Eidolon Lotus. Her hand reattaches, and Drifter takes her back to the cave with Teshin, who explains who she is and her importance. Together, the Drifter and Lotus leave Duviri, presumably through the Zeramin door into our Dormer Zone, as the Zeramin reappears in the system, which does take place in the New War. So this is the moment the Drifter comes out of the void, the Lotus is back, and the Zeramin is back. So after the Zeramin returns to the system, Ortis is looking for our Operator after we vanished. So Ballast stabbed us, we vanished, threw us into the portal. The Drifter pings on his radar, since the Drifter and Operator have identical signatures. So, same body, different mind. So he goes to pick the Drifter and Lotus up from the Zeramin. This would explain how the Drifter meets up with Ortis, and how together they start to care for Lotus in our orbiter. Later on, this explains, in the New War, why the Operator just knows to go to the Zeramin to meet with the Drifter after we switch. Like, it's never really explained. Like, the Operator comes back after switching places with Drifter, and they're just like, I need to go to the Zeramin. For, like, how do they know that? Unless it makes sense. Ortis knew of, like, hey, yeah, the Zeramin's back. Like, hey. It's, like, So we get to our almost final note. At this point, please can we get a small quest where the operator and drifter just sit down. They sit at the table with the kind of page. Obviously, this isn't going to happen because 1999 is in a month. But I would love a quest where the operator and drifter sit down. Like, they have the kind page between them and they just talk. They just ask and answer questions about the lore. Like, oh, the drifter can be like, oh, so what's Alavi? What's his fucking deal? The operator's like, oh, like, how did you save the Lotus? Like, how did you leave Duviri? Like, just something of, like, explanations, and just they can sit down and talk so these gaps can get filled in. Please, but it's not happening because we're a month out from the quest, so please. It's all I beg. But then that leads us into, I don't have 1999 really written yet. I just sort of have, earliest part of the timeline, to my knowledge. Of like, Albrecht travels back to try to stop the Man in the Wall. He makes the proto-frames. Scaldra is a precursor to the Grenier, maybe? Yeah, unclear if this is the same timeline or alternate. So this is talking about the collapsing of the timeline, so... like, you know, due to his knowledge of the Infested, he changed the Infested to attack technology instead of organic, like... or he brought back a modified Technocyte / Helmet strain to make the proto-frames before the main Infested strain was spread. So, like, yeah, 1999 was the year that the Infested made the jump from technology to organic matter, called the Plague Year. But it's, like, this part of the story is very much I have to wait until after 1999 is out. Maybe even, like, because we know they're going to do an Echoes of 1999 update. So it's just like, well, shit. So it's just like, I have to wait on this section. Like, I don't know what else to say other than, like, yeah, I can't really write anything until it's like the quest is out and we know what happens, because until then, I don't know. So when the quest comes out, I'll probably have to separate this. So take the Whispers in the Wall section. If it is an alternate timeline where we're going back, it's like we're not late this time. So Whispers in the Wall, we are too late. But then I'll have like another arrow going to like here. And it's like, oh, here's where we're on time. And then that leads into this and closes this. So just sort of waiting on that to happen. But yeah, that is the entirety of the Warframe timeline. Oh my god. Like, I'm thinking about putting a download link somewhere for this image, because if I try to put it on Twitter, it gets compressed to all hell and back. So I may see about Blue Sky of like, hey, here's the link to it. Or here's where you can download and look what I've written. Just for reference, but like, god damn. Love this game. Love the story, but also I am in fear of the story. Oh boy. But I hope you all enjoyed that. So it is 2:33. I need to get lunch. I am hungry. We'll see about doing a Soulframe stream later, because I do want to farm some more stuff, get more Drox. I want to get the bow weapon, like start building stuff so I can get to Volcane, get Garen Rude, you know. So let me close the timeline. I do still have Warframe open though, don't worry. So all this time I was talking, Warframe was open and just Xaku was sitting here like, you good? But,
In a world like this,
oh man. So we'll see about Soulframe later. But I will do the ending. I'm gonna go get lunch. So I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. We'll see about Soulframe later. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know what time. Just, you know, probably say something on Twitter, Blue Sky. Because I remembered to tweet it out this time. But I hope you all have a wonderful few hours. I will see you later. But yeah, we'll be playing Soulframe. Hopefully later. Hope you all enjoyed. I will see about getting the timeline up. Probably on Blue Sky, because Twitter compresses the image to all hell and back. God damn. But yeah, I will see you all later. Bye-bye.